Let's do a round of names. What's your name?
Margot.
We got Margot with a mouthful of...
Mikey.
Mikey with a mouthful of coffee. No name.
Anonymous.
With a handful of bigger. Can you get any bigger than that, I wonder? Yellow? Fantastic. Okay, and this is Talkaoke, as I said. Tell us who you are. What are you here doing? What is this, Fritto and Via? You're about to step into a yellow hole. What is this yellow box? Let us know what this is.
We're a street food van.
Ooh.
And we do fish and chips.
Fish and chips.
Hot dogs. Loads of really nice, tasty food.
Ah, fantastic.
Yes.
I mean, how did you set this street food up? Like, why did you set this up?
It's my partner, actually. He set it up, and I help him out with the kind of event side of it, so I kind of organise all
You're the organiser.
Yeah, I'm the person.
You're the brain
the
behind the fish and chips, basically.
Always.
And where's the name from? Fritto and Via. What does that mean?
Actually means fry and go in Italian.
Oh, wow. Okay, I'm going to actually say that.
questioned
Fritto
that.
and Vita.
I would say that, the moral of the story here is if at first you don't succeed,
Hey, come and join us.
fry again.
I have a question, actually. Is your uniform waterproof?
Unfortunately not, no.
So, did you get caught in the rain just now, or?
We did, yes.
Ah, okay then. Is there some place that you can go for shelter, or do you just sort of continue walking?
We sort of just get wet and try and...
Come a bit closer to the mic.
We just sort of get wet and then act like it's not bothering us.
Ah, okay, so you have to kind of put on a brave face. Come and take a seat. Give us 2 minutes of your time. What are you looking at today? Why are you walking around Hackney today?
Well,
Go and take a seat. Warm us up. We need a little bit of warmth. Let me get another round of names. What's your name? Mikey. Timna.
PC Malik.
PC Malik.
Yeah.
PC Summers.
PC Summers.
PC Lem.
PC Lem. Margot. This is Talkaoke. It's a pop-up talk show. Right now, we're talking about anything. We're just warming up. We heard from Fritto and Via. Does anyone know what Fritto and Via means? No?
It means if at first you don't succeed, fry again.
All right. Here we go.
It means fry and go.
Is there anything you had to fry again recently?
I do a lot of frying, and I'm wondering if it is healthy to do that much, the amount of frying that I do.
Okay. Is it healthy to fry? How do people cook? What did you have for dinner last night? How did you cook it? Did you fry it or?
I didn't fry it. I just bought a sandwich.
You boiled a sandwich?
I boiled it.
Oh, you bought a sandwich. Okay. Can you boil a sandwich?
I think you definitely can.
Okay, you can.
Well, I don't, I'm not trying to sort of focus in on any particular group here, but they say that that the constabulary like a particular kind of boiled fried food, which is the donut. But I just want to know, is it actually true that, or is it a myth that the police love donuts?
Do you like donuts? Do you enjoy a donut?
I did. I got sick of them though, because I thought it was a stereotype. I don't think we actually ate them. And then every time we come in, someone for their birthday they bought them. And now that's made me feel sick. The look of them.
Where do you get donuts from around here?
Tesco's mostly, yeah.
So Tesco's. All right. Cheap and cheerful. Any particular flavour?
Plain, bit of sugar.
Yeah. Jam in the middle?
Well, jammed on's nice, yeah.
Jammed on. I know there's a Percy Ingles down the road. Is it still there? They used to do a really nice donut. I don't know. Oh, it's shut down. Oh no. Margot.
I know, in Poland, for instance, where I'm from, our donuts don't have a hole in the middle, so it always confused me when people say donut shape. I'm like, oh yeah, I know what that is. And then what they actually mean is a bit like this table. So I'm just confused. Why is it with a hole? It's you can't even put filling in it. So
right. What is a donut? What is a donut?
I have to say I brought it up, and I've never been in the police, but I am a bit of a donut-aholic myself.
Oh, okay. Where do you get your donuts from? Where do you like your donuts from?
Well, I'm sort of on the wagon at the moment, but it's mostly actually Greg's.
Ah, so
and just going back to the Percy Ingles thing, I think the reason why Percy Ingles shut down is because they didn't keep up with the times, and Greg's brought out the vegan sausage roll, and that was
right.
that's basically no one go. Well, I stopped going to Percy Ingles because I don't have being a true Hackney person. I'm a vegetarian.
Okay.
And that just killed it for me.
So Percy's wasn't providing enough options. I mean, you said being a Hackney person, you're a vegetarian. Are there any other vegetarians around the table? Any other vegans or
I'm vegetarian, and I actually love donuts, but I can't eat them because my stomach doesn't like them. So every time I have like two. Yeah.
What is it about a donut? Is it the shape of it that your stomach doesn't like? Or?
I would love that. Like, I need more filling. No, I think it's like the fried thing. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Maybe like the oil, the fried
the grease.
foods,
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, but I come from Austria, and we also have it's called in Germany they call it Berliner. In Austria we call it Krapfen, and it's actually like a donut, so it's fried. But we don't have holes.
Yeah.
But we have jam inside, which is pretty good.
So a donut is like the umbrella for multiple different doughy kind of balls. Are you guys from Hackney? Are you vegetarian?
I'm not vegetarian. I'm from Lewisham.
You're from Lewisham? Okay, so in Lewisham they're not. Yeah, maybe they're not vegetarians in Lewisham, you know?
I'm from Charlton.
Charlton, all right, so that's southeast London.
It is, yeah.
And you're not a vegetarian.
No.
All right, so maybe it's true. Like to be a true Hackneyite, you need to be vegetarian. How about yourself?
No, I'm meat mostly.
You eat meat. Are you from Hackney? No. Whereabouts are you from?
Haringey.
Haringey. Okay, so that's North London. North London. All right. Okay, and whereabouts are you from?
I'm in South London, kind of Lewisham, Southwark way. But I was just wondering. I guess that you you do a lot of walking around Hackney. Do you have any spots worth recommending for food or otherwise? I mean, because you're not from Hackney, are there particular areas that you like going to on your, I don't know, patrol? Are you on a patrol now? I don't know how it works.
Yeah, any food spots or any corners of Hackney that you'd recommend people that's a must see, you know?
You've been to Feast up on Clarence Road?
Where?
Feast. You must know Feast.
Feast? No. What do they do there? What kind of food is it?
Well, it's like peri-peri chicken and milkshakes and that at Feast. Everyone's in Feast.
Oh really? Yeah. Clarence Road. Okay, so you'd recommend Feast, yeah?
I would.
What about yourself? Where's a food place, local food spot you'd recommend?
I'm a fan of good pizza.
Whereabouts is that?
On Stoke Newington Road.
Stoke Newington Road, good pizza.
It's near the police station, so that's quite lucky for us.
Okay, all right, okay, so that's convenient. Any toppings that you like, you know?
I like the pepperoni and mushroom one they do.
All right, pepperoni and mushroom.
There is a bagel shop.
Okay.
Near the police station as well.
Opposite Stoke Newington police station.
Yeah, they do.
Okay.
It's been there for you.
I think it's on the corner, isn't it? It's on the corner. I don't think anywhere can beat Bagel Bake in Brick Lane. Come on, that is the #1 bagel spot. Take a seat. We're talking about food spots in Hackney. We're talking about donuts. What is a donut? Does a donut have a hole in it? Does donuts have a jam in the middle? To be a true Hackneyite, do you have to be vegetarian? We've got one vegetarian around the table, but everyone else is meat eaters.
I think we'll come up with a new format, police officers recommend restaurants. This could be a new podcast, couldn't it?
You
just get different. Every week you get a different policeman or woman, and they recommend a particular food spot.
Yeah.
I think it would work.
Police recommend. I mean, would you tune into this? You wouldn't.
I think I might if it was not just police officers. If it was like a rotation of people with different occupations recommending restaurants. I trust like a construction worker's opinion also.
Oh right, okay then.
About where to eat. Yeah.
I mean, where do you like to eat?
That's such a good question. I really like the Brick Lane food hall on the Sunday market, like all the stalls that they have set up.
Yeah.
And you can kind of just choose and eat anywhere. That's my favorite.
Okay. Any food spots that stand out for you? I know you got the bagel shop. You've got the falafel spot on Brick Lane.
There's this one dumpling stand that's really, and it's cheap too. You can get I think 7. You can get 7 for £6.
Oh right, wow.
And then and then they have bao buns as well that they sell for £3.
Where is this food from? What kind of food dumplings? Is it Caribbean?
They're the Chinese dumplings.
It's Chinese
dim sum. Yeah.
Dim sum.
Yeah.
All right, and so you can select the fillings as well.
Yeah. They have an option, so you can do vegetarian, pork, barbecue, beef. Yeah.
Right. So we've Margot. Oh, let's get a final thought from you guys before you leave. Anything? Oh, okay, so you can come back, let us know. Anything you want to leave us with for this first round of conversation? Any thoughts? Anything that stood out for you so far?
I mean, the donut thing is, I'm going to go back to it.
Try the Z-Caf.
Z-Caf. Whereabouts is that?
That's on Stonington High Street.
Oh, I think I've been there before, but you were saying something about donuts.
No, it's just we keep a variety. We don't pick a favourite. We go for the variety pack.
You like to have a selection.
Good ones, yeah.
Okay, all right. Well,
please the whole office.
On your way back, bring us some donuts. You know what I mean? Thank you for joining us, and see you soon. Take care. Lovely donut conversation. Come and join us. Do you like donuts? Do you like bagels? Do you like Chinese dumplings? You know what I mean? What food do you like to eat? Mum's favourite dish, is that what you like? Margot, did you have your hand up before?
Before we kicked off, somebody was saying about the new public sculpture, like public art in Narrow Way, and I just wondered if people are aware of it, because apparently the person who was telling me about it, she says it's terrible. But the person was nominated for the Turner Prize, so...
All right. Does anyone know about the new public artwork in the Narrow Way? I mean, I really like it. I know I'm not allowed to give my opinion. So.
Yeah, controversial.
Yeah.
No,
tell us, has anyone seen the artwork?
I like it too. Large fruits.
What do you like about this? For people who don't know or who haven't seen it, are you able to describe what it looks like?
I actually don't know what the fruits are. So come and join in.
Come and take a seat.
We're talking about the fruit. What do you think of the fruits in the
Narrow Way?
Narrow Way. The
artwork.
The large sculptures.
Come and take a seat. You got the baby on board, baby.
Yeah, but I personally like it. One of the things I like it, because the kids quite often, I don't know if they're allowed to, but they do climb on it. Yeah. I like it. It's very touchable. It is, it is a market area in a way. I think the sad thing about it is there's only really one market stall there.
Right.
Now.
Okay.
So
So you're saying that although it's fruit. I mean, does anyone know? So you're saying it's a fruit sculpture?
Yeah.
Does anyone know the name of some of the?
I don't know.
Pieces
one of them might
there?
be a jackfruit.
One might be a jackfruit. Do you know what Mikey? Let's get. What's your name, by the way?
Shakira.
We got Margot. We got Mikey. Sophia with an L, Sophia.
Yeah. What was the question?
Oh, I was getting your name. What's your Sophia?
Right.
Sophia.
Sylvia.
Sylvia.
Yeah. Timna.
Okay, and sorry, you were going to say something about the fruit sculpture on Mare Street.
Yeah, I know what most of them are. I know one is soursop.
Soursop. Mm-hmm.
But I would just like to say, I mean, I understand that it's meant to represent the Windrush, right? But I don't understand how fruit just represents it, if that makes sense.
Right.
I understand what this gentleman over here said. Sorry, what's your name?
Yeah.
Mikey said about obviously the area is known to be a market, and
Right.
But I just don't see how fruit represents it.
I mean, what was the Windrush? Does anyone know what the Windrush was? Yeah. What was it?
From my understanding, thank you. Okay. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but the Windrush generation was the generation in the massive influx of immigrants that came in the 60s, predominantly from the Caribbean. Is that right?
Is that correct?
I don't know.
So you're saying there was this massive influx of immigrants that came from the Caribbean in the 1950s and 60s?
Yeah, and then I think that resulted in areas like here and Peckham, where you have these really large immigrant communities.
Yeah.
And then I guess now the UK government is sort of trying to backpedal on the policies they implemented during Windrush.
Yeah.
So really long and complicated history, I think.
Okay, so you say that the immigrants came. I mean, why does anyone know why the immigrants came in that particular period?
Well, just want to add a little bit of that. Windrush was a boat that actually it was the first boat to come with. I think it stopped off in a few different Caribbean islands, but it came, I think, to Southampton with the first, mass immigration from the Caribbean. But I mean, I think what happened is there was a lot of rebuilding going on after the Second World War. And the Britain needed jobs, and they sourced labour from around what was the Empire, I think then still possibly. Now called the Commonwealth. Okay. Which is an interesting term by itself. We're talking about that in the last Talkaoke. The Windrush was the first boat of many to come and drop people off in the UK.
So, I mean, what is the link between the fruit on Mare Street and the Windrush generation that came during that time?
I find that an interesting question, like what would represent... Okay, so this is about Windrush, this artwork, shall we say. But what would actually represent it well? Like what would be a thing? Is it a sculpture? Is it something else? Is it what is it? Because for instance, just in Poland, I feel like when I was growing up, there were so many statues, and majority of them were to do with the war, like people fighting. So there were always like representations of people, in some kind of like heroic poses. So I just wonder. And I sometimes wish it was something a bit more imaginative than that. And maybe this is like kind of going the other way with the fruit. But I don't know, what would be a good way of representing Windrush?
So you're saying, what would be a good way of representing Windrush? What would be a good way of representing us that live here today? So many questions around the table.
I think in terms of what would be good to represent Windrush, I'm like a really big believer in art being like a very powerful catalyst for change. But I guess I sort of find it ironic that funding was put into this into the new installation on Mare Street, as opposed, and like I find it a little ironic that funding was put in this, whereas in other parts of the community, are being defunded, and the cost of living is going up, and that's pushing people from the Windrush generation and like children of people from the Windrush generation, kind of pushing them out, out of these areas.
I mean, what areas are being defunded? What areas are being defunded?
Well, like programs like. Oh God! Well, first of all, the cost of living is increasing, and the wages aren't. And
so you're saying why are they investing in arts when actually people can't even afford to eat the fruit?
Well, it's not like me wondering why I think people should invest in art, but I think while you're investing in art, that's like, we care about this community, we want to honor this community, then that should be more than that. That should be about more than just art installations. That you should alongside it also be like putting giving back to communities, or letting people here come up with their own installations.
Interesting question. Alongside art, invest in the communities where the art is placed. We've got a new face at the table.
Good afternoon, my name's Sean Lee Jones.
We've got Sean Lee Jones. Timna, I know you had your hand up there. I'll come to you afterwards, Mikey.
Yeah, so I have a completely different historical background, so for me this Windrush, I've never heard about it, so it's really interesting. I don't know the installation, but I kind of think like the fruits are kind of like a cool representation of like this diversity. So if the installation is about different fruits, and I think as we don't have jackfruits in the UK itself here, I think it's like might be good and not too like kind of obvious, but in the meantime I would also say like would be nice to have like more explanation. I don't know if they gave the people who live in Hackney and the area some explanation.
Right. So is there any explanation alongside the art piece for people to be able to know what it is? I mean, you mentioned Czech fruits. There's no Czech fruits in the UK. What are some Czech fruits?
What they are?
No, what are some fruits from Czech? Oh, sorry, did you say that you... I thought you said that... I thought you mentioned Czech Republic. Like,
no, this huge fruit. Maybe you call it jackfruit. Yeah.
Okay,
sorry.
cool. Sorry, my bad. This is all part of the conversation, like
love it.
Correcting and Mikey.
No, I just wanted, because we've been down to Stratford at Black History Month, and you were doing the conversation down there.
I was.
We were actually talking about this very question of like, how do you actually represent the Windrush generation? How do you actually represent that part of British history? And there were lots
Sorry.
There are a lot of different, some people said, statues, but then other people were vehemently opposed to statues, saying things a bit, is it Sylvia? A bit like what Sylvia was saying, that maybe you could invest that money in something more dynamic. And it's really interesting. Or, in a way, the fruits thing is a sort of way to have a statue without it being something to remember it, which is without saying it's this one human, but it's lots and lots of people.
Okay, so it's a vessel through which we can sort of remember that time in history. You had your hands up?
Yeah, because I'm only kind of catching up to what I think is going on. So this is about the Windrush, yeah?
Yeah, so let me give you a summary. We're talking about, the art sculpture that's on Mare Street. Apparently it's caused quite a debate. Some people are for it, some people are against it. We're just discussing, art. And, Sylvia said that alongside the artwork, perhaps we could have invested in the community as well. People
Can I
really
be honest with you?
Yeah,
No, sorry, not to cut you.
No, go for it.
I'm born and bred Hackney.
You're born and bred in Hackney?
Yeah, I used to go to a school that don't exist no more. I used to go Homerton House.
Homerton House?
But they've changed it to something else now. I'm not too sure what they've changed it to, but it's just up there on the hill. Art will mean little and a lot to a few in the community, because to be fair, art ain't really taught in the way it's meant to be taught within our schools. And to be fair, maybe I have not been in school for a long time.
Yeah.
I still do a bit of youth work, I do a bit of youth intervention, so I get to see what happens, but maybe the younger kids don't feel the same. But
I mean, how do you feel like art
really
should be taught in schools?
Do you mean how I should taught it? Well, it should be about the community. So I don't even. This is the biggest problem about what you're discussing. I'm from Hackney. I don't even know the statue you're talking about.
Okay. So have you seen the fruits on Mare Street?
I'm gonna go walk around and look at it afterwards. But this is the point in what I'm saying.
Right.
If you want to encourage art, people gotta be inspired by it. They gotta want to know about it. For the fact that you've seen it, my friend would know you've seen it. I've seen it.
Yeah.
Do you know what Mare Street used to be artistically known for?
Oh, tell us.
It used to be the jam spot for my generation.
What is the jam spot? What's the jam spot?
After school, everyone used to go there and congregate.
Yeah.
Mare Street, for people kind of maybe in my generation, I'm not too sure about the younger generation, but it's not Mare Street no more.
Right.
It doesn't look nothing like
so
Mare
people don't really jam.
I don't recognise Mare Street. I walked down there maybe 2 weeks ago, and I hadn't been there for maybe 4 or 5 years. It's nothing to what I know, so it's not my community, is it? It's somebody
not your
else's.
Community anymore. We've got a new face at the table. What's your name?
My name is Valerie.
Valerie. Great. So Valerie, we're talking about art in communities, its purpose, what it means. We're talking about the Windrush. What was that? How can you represent the Windrush? How can you represent immigrants now? Any thoughts on this?
That's a broad one.
Yeah. Have you seen the sculpture on?
Yes, I have.
What are your thoughts about it?
As my friend here said just now, the alleyway as we know it is not what it used to be. It's like everything, every aspect of it has been changed. So it's like you can't even recognize that it's Mare Street as how we know it. It's not. It's different. They have moved so much of the what you call it now, the historical thing that was there. The bus don't run there anymore. That's how we know it. It goes somewhere else. Even though we know it's development and stuff like that, but something should remain.
What would you like to see? What would you like them to bring back? What would you like to remain? Let's get a final thought from you before you leave us. Honestly, any thoughts you want to leave us with? Anything that stood out from the conversation?
Well, I'd just like to say thank you for having me on your panel. One thing that stood out for me is the fact that obviously I'm not from Hackney per se, but I work in Hackney. I'm originally from Bedford.
Okay.
So, but I've worked in Hackney for about 3 or 4 years now.
Right.
And it's like a lot of people are actually debating about this fruit representation.
Right.
And I feel like personally, I mean, fruit can represent a lot of people's cultures. You get what I mean? Like, if you go to America, you know, you're gonna find these fruits there. If you go to the Caribbean, yeah. If you go to Africa, you know, you're gonna find them there as well. It's fruit, like, but I feel like, yeah. Like, that's what I would say. It's not I wouldn't say it's the greatest. Sorry to sound very negative, but I don't think it's the greatest. But I feel like, you know, it could have been invested in something a bit more sentimental.
What would you like to have seen?
Well, I wouldn't personally want to have seen like a boat or anything like that, you know, because I feel like people would just be like racist. They would show like horrible remarks and stuff like that.
Right.
But more like something cultural, like children, adults, you know what I mean? Like,
so
with the fists
like
up or something, you know? It's just like, it's just like they got given all of this clay material and things like that, and it's just like they just thought, oh, let me just put fruits there.
Your friend is there.
You know?
Come and join us. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Hey, you're right. And it's just like they got given all this clay material or whatever they made out of it, and it's just like they've made like clumps it all together and thought, oh, let's put 3 pieces of fruit in the middle of the ground.
Right.
It's not like something that people can actually admire. Do you get what I mean? Like, it's just fruit on the ground. Right. Like, if it was something like children or like statues of people, could have been like flags, anything, you know.
Well, thank you so much. I mean, let us know how it all goes. Come back and join us. Let us know how your day's going.
Thank you.
Let us know if you have any other thoughts about the statue there as you walk past it today. I heard you were saying, you know what, we were actually asking what the names of the fruits are. Do you know what the names of the fruits are?
I'll come to you. There's a soursop. In our country, we call it soursop. I think that's jackfruit
and breadfruit.
And a breadfruit.
Breadfruit, yeah.
And what I'm looking at, it's not like it's grown here.
Yeah.
So I don't see. It's like it would be representing the Caribbean then, because you know, like when I went home, there's this lady. I don't know if you know about her. She's called Louise Bennett, and she's a poetess.
Okay, so she's a poet.
When she passed away, in the community that she originates from, they have put a statue there to represent her. That she was from Garden Town, and this is a statue to show that she's passed now, but at least someone will know. They will come, and when they view it, when I went back, I took pictures there, because it's part of the culture of the country and of that area. So it should be more something meaningful, you know, or something that for everyone, both young, old, and in between.
You're saying that actually a statue is something that would maybe
something that represent
would represent the Windrush. Away.
Yes.
All right, that's interesting. I'll come to you after this, Michael.
Sorry, I was going to add on a bit to both Valerie and Shakira's point, where like the statue of the fruit, again, like jackfruit doesn't even grow in the UK, so it's sort of like you kind of got people who don't come from here, who didn't grow up here, who didn't, I mean, I'm one to talk because I moved here in September, but I guess speaking as someone who is an immigrant, who is like very tied to their culture in a lot of ways, it like even seeing it from the outside, or it's like, I mean, you have this generation of people that like fought and are still fighting for their place here. And you know, the cost of, again, like back to what I was saying, where it's like it's getting harder and harder to live in this neighborhood. It's getting harder and harder to pay for groceries, and then all you give these people is a jackfruit.
Jackfruit statue.
I think. Sorry, I was just gonna say.
No problem.
I think a really good example, actually, of using art installations to tell the story of a neighborhood is what they did in Dalston with the like Ridley Road. You know, the like photos they have of people, the business owners on Ridley Road Market, and they have the pictures, and then they have like the those giant murals. Exactly. That comes from the fight. So I think like I like that they have those photos. They were taken by people who grew up in Dalston. They feature people from the area, and they have the story.
Yeah.
It tells the story of the people there.
Right. It tells the story of the people. Yeah.
Euro, yeah.
Right.
That anyone from Hackney knows
does
that.
anyone know what that? So you're
They
saying
know that, and that's about Carnival. That was representing. I think when that was done, if I'm correct, that was to represent the vibe of Carnival.
Okay, so it was to
and
represent the Hackney Carnival. There. I believe they wanted to get rid of that a couple of years
They
ago.
did, but they failed. Yeah, they did. They failed. Luckily, but
so it seems to me that what you're saying, a good representation of the a Windrush, a good celebration of the Windrush would have been a statue, and you're saying a good example you've seen of representing the community is the photos that you saw.
I mean, I think it could be anything, just as long as it actually tells the story of the people.
Yeah. And you're saying the photography pieces in Dalston, it's done by the people as well.
I mean, I don't know this, but what's the name of the poet that you said there was a statue?
Louise Bennett.
Louise Bennett. I mean, what I'm thinking is rather than just have a statue, you could have a statue or a sculpture based on one of the poems that actually could be, use that as a starting point, the poem as a starting point to make a piece of art. I think that would be interesting as well. I have to say, I'm not as harsh on that because I think, okay, it's spending money on something that seems a bit superfluous, but it is actually there to last. And compared to the cost of the houses and the cost of everything else, it's actually not that much money, I don't think. I just think we need more art and more different approaches. There's no reason why we can't have a statue and a sculpture and a performance and a mural. I think it would cheer up this place a little bit.
So you're saying more art. I mean, what do you think about the fact that people are saying? What do you think about the point that people are making about? Okay, there's a statue here, but alongside that, the local community, the cost of living is going up for them. But then there's this money put into this artwork. I mean, what do you think about that, Margot? And then I'll come back.
I mean, I just had a thought about, for instance, how is public sculpture commissioned, right? Who selects that? Who decides? Because it sometimes seems to me like there's okay, so we're doing something about Windrush. We're just gonna take an artist who's fairly well known, someone who's got maybe linked to Windrush, who's the right demographic, commission them, bang, job done. Because to me it's just a bit superficial, to be honest.
Right, okay.
It's when you do, when theatres jump on a bandwagon and say, oh no, gotta do European shows because it's Brexit. Oh yeah, it's just that should be happening all the time, not just when it's convenient.
Not in response to something, it should just be happening anyway. I mean, that's a good question. Who commissioned the artwork? Did people vote for it? I see you got your hand up and then I'll come to you. Sorry, I know you had your hand up before.
I was going to ask, you see, art doesn't have to be always happy. It doesn't always have to be pleasurable.
Okay.
If you want to represent the Windrush people, you need to actually put pictures up of the people that got sent home unlawfully.
Okay.
And are no longer in this country unlawfully.
Yeah.
Although they spent half their years in this. What
so
could
you're
be
saying that
there's been a whole lot of there you go. And reparations for the people that have been done wrong.
Right.
So you're gonna put a whole bowl of fruit in the middle of somewhere. What are you really trying to inspire and actually show?
Right. So you're saying that some of the people that's come over here have been sent back unlawfully. I know you had your hand up and then I'll come to you.
I was gonna say, I mean, in terms of actually wanting to use art to give back to the community and stuff, I feel I mean, again, I don't know how the piece was commissioned, but surely maybe get artists from the Windrush generation, maybe get input from the people of Hackney, from people who've been born and bred here, surely maybe take get a little more of the community's input as to what they want to see, and then actually commission someone from the community to create that piece. And what you were saying, art doesn't nearly always have to be vague and cheerful. I think it would, like you were saying again, I think it's sort of doing a disservice to the Windrush generation to have art, have a piece of art that's supposedly a tribute to them, but ignores all of the hardship that they went through once they got here and were eventually also like a bunch of them sent home.
Okay, so you're saying that, you're agreeing with what was your name is? Shawnee, that art doesn't always have to be happy.
Yeah.
Sean Lee. Tim, I know you've had your hand up for a while. Sean Lee.
Yeah, just wanted to say I totally agree with Sophia that let's just ask communities what they want to see and maybe what they want to have. Yeah. I sometimes have the impression that councils don't ask the community what they want to have because then they would have to tell them how much it would cost. In the town in which I grew up, like some things were so heavily expensive that when people got to know the sum of these things, they were like, oh, how can you spend that much money on something we don't really need? So I think this would be super interesting.
So it's a way of kind of like hiding the true cost of it. So not cause outrage in the community. Yeah. Margot, I know you've had your hand up, and then I'll come to you, Mikey.
I really like your point, Sean Lee, about, art doesn't have to, it can be not necessarily like a cheerful art. It could. I think what you're saying, from what I understand, is maybe it should be thought provoking. And sometimes those thoughts are not just like happy clappy, isn't it lovely? We live here together. Oh, here's some fruit, because our histories, I would say, are complex and complicated, and some of it is just really shit. Like it's really bad for people. But it's like, how do we have a conversation which isn't trivializing the past and it's constructive and it goes forward? And I think art can really do that. But I also, when you ask people what they want to do, that's the argument that my friend used for consulting, the public about art. He said, well, why would you do that? The public are just going to come up with Boaty McBoatface, so don't trust the public. He's an architect.
Oh, okay. Oh, so he's on the other side, okay.
I think it is underestimating the intelligence of the public, and I think it's also, the whole reason why Boaty McBoatface came was because it's where people got to choose the name of the boat. It's now actually called the Sir David Attenborough, but it was like a online election, and everyone chose Boaty McBoatface, but they didn't. Wow. It did look a bit like a toy boat because it was an icebreaker boat. Anyway, I'm going way off the subject of what I wanted to talk about, which is like art and memory, because sort of speaking from a Jewish perspective, I think it's almost the opposite. Like especially in Europe, when you see art which remembers Jewish history, it's always about Holocaust or pogroms and genocide. Right. And I think it's important to remember those things, but actually Jewish history in Europe isn't characterized in the majority by death and destruction. It's actually characterized by living together, by having fun, by partying, by all these things, which I just think get suppressed over the really tragic side. And then people have got this view of Jewish history that it's all trauma, but it's not actually all trauma.
So tell us, there's a big Jewish community in Hackney, local to here. In what way what do you feel symbolises the Jewish community in Hackney?
Well, I think for Hackney, actually, you got to look pretty hard, because I think a lot. There used to be. My great uncle used to live in Hackney. But way back in the day, this is in the 60s. In the 60s, there's quite a big Jewish area around Broadway Market, the London Fields area. Yeah. But there's not, up towards Dalston as well. There's not that much there to remember it, and I think, I think part of the thing is that those people move more north. So at the time they saw themselves moving up towards North London.
It's interesting what you were saying earlier about different statue. There should be more art pieces. I'm just wondering what art piece would represent this huge Jewish community.
It's a tough gig for me. What I would like to do, right? I would also, the Jewish socialists were really big in Hackney, so I would like to.
I know there was a big.
Come and join in. Quick one, 2 minutes, 2 minutes, 2
Where are you
minutes.
working? Where are you working?
I am Stormont House running special need sports activities.
Oh, right, okay. What's it called?
Access to Sport project.
Access to Sport.
Yeah.
Well, let us know how it is anyway. If it's just across the road,
Yeah,
come back.
it's a great program.
Bring some of them. Bring some of them.
Okay, thanks.
All right?
Yeah, bye.
Oh, let's get a final thought from you before you leave us.
Yeah, I'm just I have to go back in soon because I did an eye surgery on Friday, so I don't want too much of, and then I have to instill the drops. So I just want to see in there and just quickly go. But what I'm saying, I think we Hackney needs a better representation of the Windrush generation than just fruits.
Than just fruits.
Yeah.
So it needs like a stronger, a better representation.
Yeah.
Well, I hope your eye heals as it should. Yeah. What was the eye surgery that you had? What was the eye?
Cataract.
Cataract. Does everyone know what cataract eye surgery is? But yeah, get well soon. Get well soon.
So this was the last one now.
Okay.
But I have more confidence in this one because the previous one that they did, it took me 1 year for it to be healed, and at that time I was in uni, so I had to get special support with my studying and stuff like that. But this one, it's like I can feel like there's a difference. It was the top surgeon who did this time, but the other one, I think it was someone that was
like new.
Yeah, so they did some damage to the back of
God, well,
my
I'm sorry
eye.
to hear that, but glad that you are on road to recovery.
I am good. All right, bless
Thank you very much. I mean, do we? Is there enough information about cataracts? You know, there's quite a few topics on the. Yeah.
I think it's something that is a lot in with the Caribbean people right now that I can see. You know, some it's hereditary, some it's because when I completed the surgery, I didn't even know. My GP didn't tell me that I was diabetic.
Oh wow!
And when I look on the medication that was given to me, it's a diabetic cataract.
So you didn't even know you were
So I didn't even know that. So that's people need to be more educated.
Right, so you know what, we've got a lot of topics on the table right now. We've got art in the community. What art? What's the best way? Yeah.
So I was just saying, my mum had cataract, and she always had like a
let's get final thought.
Sean Lee. He's coming back.
No problem.
And she had an operation, so she's recovering similarly to you, but it's taking a little bit. But I hope take your time.
I think if we follow the instructions given, because the last time I wasn't even taking it as it was supposed to, but now I'm on top of it because I know how much I suffered with that one. So
thank you for joining us. Let us know how it is inside. We got quite a few topics on the table.
So I was gonna redirect it back to the art in the community.
Can take it where we want to go.
Well, I was just going to speak to Tommy's point about the like Jewish diaspora in the area where, and like the way that you would like to see your community represented, but I just think that goes to show that different communities need different things. Like, so I think the Jewish diaspora, from what you're saying, could benefit from having art that isn't just based on the Holocaust and trauma.
Hello, love.
Whereas with like the Windrush generation, and I can't speak to personal experience, but I know with like my family's from India, where like I think I spent a lot of my younger years like not knowing my culture's history, and like a lot of my friends who have parents and grandparents from the Windrush generation spent a lot of time just not knowing what the full extent of the history of their community.
How did you start to learn your history? How did you find out about your Indian heritage?
Well, I started finding out by like asking my family members and talking to them, and like looking through my records and stuff.
What, looking through your records?
Like we're looking through like I have like my grandparents were like arrested and stuff, so those records.
Okay, not music records.
No. They like police records.
Okay.
So that's sort of how but like you know, it should be more accessible. I think Windrush history is British history, and it should be there should be as much attention put on it as like the more Eurocentric parts of our of the.
I mean, I guess there's a kind of question on the table now, like how is history represented? How should history be represented? How should history be passed down to younger generations? I know Timna's got.
I have to go, so do you mind if I just?
Final thought from you before you leave
you
us.
said how history should be represented.
Yeah, how should we represent history today?
That's a really loaded question because history encompasses literally everything that has happened ever. And so to cover everything that I think it's important, I think especially in like this political climate and everything, to have people from the communities telling their stories. I think that's a really vital part of history because a huge part of it is that our history gets erased, and I think that's what Sean Lee was saying. What the problem with the art is that it doesn't really tell the story of Windrush, and it's already such an underrepresented story in British culture that it's like, well, if you're going to do something that represents the Windrush generation, do something that really does it, you know?
Yeah, no, I hear that. I mean, I wonder if there's links between the Indian community and the Windrush generation.
Oh, a huge one. With the people from South Asia were transported during British rule to the Caribbean, and by transported they were essentially like forced to work in slavery, and so there's a huge diaspora of like Indo-Caribbean people. But,
I know you're gonna go, but what's one aspect of your Indian community, Indian history that you like that stood out for you and you'd like more people to know about? Maybe?
Well, I think I would like people to know more about the way in which India fought for its independence from the British. I learned a lot of stories about my grandparents and my great-grandparents and their fight for how they fought for independence and stuff, and I think a lot of that gets sort of swept under the rug.
Fight for independence. You know.
Yeah.
India is more than the tea and the tea. You know, there's a big history there, especially about tea as well. So, thank you for joining us. Let us know how your day goes. We're going to be here until 6 o'clock. Do come back and join us. Thank you for your contribution. Timna, I know you had your hand up for quite some time. And then I'll come to you, Mikey.
Yeah.
Come join us. Take us.
I was just thinking about what Mikey and Sylvia mentioned. Coming also back to like the happiness factor of art. So I would definitely say like if we ask us the question, how do we want history to be represented? It's like kind of, okay, who is going to tell the history? Who is going to talk about it? Because I don't know who made this installation about with the fruits, but it seems as if no one who was really part of the Windrush generation did it.
Yeah.
And concerning the diaspora of the Jewish community, in Austria we have those, they are called Stolpersteine, which they are like little, can you say bricks on the floor?
Yeah.
And they are gold, and they say the names of the people who used to live there and who got deported. So, and it should remind you of the people, they were deported and they were kind of killed. So again, it's about trauma, but I think the aim is also like
to represent those people and remember
what had happened, and let's I would also say for the Austrians, let's check that this will not happen again. So.
Right, so it's a reminder to not repeat history. How should art represent history? How should we remember history today? I mean, are there any local communities or any things that we should be remembering? Is art the way to kind of remember history? There's quite a lot of topics on the table. It really is up to you where you want to take it. Are fish and chips represented enough in Hackney? I wonder. What do you think? What do you think about the fruit and veg on Mare Street? You know, opposite Marks and Spencer's. There's some fruit sculptures. You've never been? Are you local? Oh, come and let us know what you think of this area. All right, no worries. We'll be here till 6.
I just think about the thing about telling. Take a seat. I just think it's also about bringing it to life, isn't it? It's about making it to talking about the struggle.
Yeah.
But it's about involving people in that struggle and making it something that's not just so dry and kind of I think the way history is taught at school is so boring. It should be more about experience. We did a talkaoke about. I'm going on now, but I guess there's not anyone else here. So we did a talkaoke in Portsmouth about the D-Day.
About D-Day.
Yeah, and there was a lot of veterans there, and it was about what happened. It was pretty bad, pretty bad experience. But the way it's taught in schools is very, very dull.
All right, well,
come back. We're here. We're going to be here till 6.
Come and join us. Shout from the rain. It's going to rain now.
Yeah, and
what are you learning at school right now? History. Do you know about history? Do you know about history of Hackney? Let us know. What's your favourite part of history? Is it 1066? Do you know about 1066?
Hastings.
Come and take a seat. Oh, Hastings.
Yeah, there we go. I know.
What's your name? Take a seat.
James.
Give us. Sit down. Go on. What's your name? Give us 2 minutes of your time, guys. What's your name?
My name's Kwame.
Kwame.
Kwame. Good to meet you, Kwame.
And what's your name?
I'm James.
James. Timna. Mikey.
I'm Margot.
I'm Elam. This is Talkaoke. It's a free-form talk show. You can talk about absolutely anything. I mean, gosh, so far we've spoken about the fruits on opposite M&S on Mare Street. It's caused a bit of debate. Why does it exist? Apparently it's to represent the Windrush generation. How do we represent history? What community should we be remembering through art? Is that the way? And we've also just been talking about history in general.
I mean, I'm just going to focus on Kwame because he's the one that's still at school.
Right.
But I just think that school is doing a bad job about creating the sense of history. It's not. You just. Kwame. I don't know. I want to ask Kwame how they teach history now. Is it boring or is it fun?
Is history boring at school or is it fun?
Neither.
Come and take a seat. I mean, what are you learning? How old are you? What year are you in?
12, year 7.
You're in year 7. Gosh, I thought you were in primary school. My gosh, I'm so out of the loop. What year are you in?
I'm not at school. You know this. Look at
Okay, so that means you must be learning about the Battle of Hastings right now, 1066.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, what about when you were at school? Like, do you feel like history was taught in the best way? Is it interesting? Mikey was saying that history, how people are taught about D-Day, for example, is boring and it's not as interesting as it should be, even though it was such a difficult history.
Wasn't one of my favourite subjects, history. There's a lot to do with textbooks. Wasn't super interesting or engaging.
Yeah.
There's a lot of important history that doesn't get taught as well. I feel like.
What things have you learned about the past that you feel should be taught in schools?
I mean, even like the history of the UK, right, and like the British Empire and things like that. About the kind of the challenges as well that our history has of the way that there's a lot that we tend to ignore. I think of the UK that you only read about when you grow up and you when you read books and things like that. But the education system isn't great.
So you're saying the education system is not great. We're not taught enough about the British Empire and more of the challenging sort of
I mean, it's also how it's taught as well. It's like maybe we need the extra stage weights. Have we got those? But put it on that leg over there, fast.
Come and join us. We're talking about Windrush generation.
But I think
familiar. I feel like your face is
the history could be a lot more fun, like fish and chips.
Yeah, fish and
chips.
What's the history of fish and chips?
Yeah, the fish, the battered fish, deep fried fish. That is a Jewish food.
Oh wow! So
that comes from the Baltic.
You got a bit of Jewish.
The potatoes comes from America, so you can. Whoa!
Cool, blimey! Oh bloody hell! Ooh. It's windy. A little bit of wind, a little bit of wind, a little bit of wind.
What is going on here today? What are you doing?
So basically, this is Talkaoke. It's a pop-up talk show. We're here with the Peabody Trust today, and we've come here a couple of times. We go all around the UK, all around the world, just kind of sparking conversation between strangers. And the best thing is that you can just talk about absolutely anything. So Yeah, so far that's what we've been talking about, absolutely anything. And it's just good to sort of, yeah, I mean, we are actually based in Poplar. Okay. We're based in Poplar. We've got quite a few events that happen every month in all over the place, really. I mean, are you from Hackney?
As you can tell by my accent, I'm not from Hackney. I'm from Manchester.
Oh, you're from
but I live up there.
You live up there?
Yeah, so this is my local
Your
community.
local area.
I've been for like a year.
How does Manchester compare to Hackney?
Manchester doesn't have anything on London, put it that way.
I've heard people are quite friendly in Manchester.
I have a question for him.
Oh, hello.
Man City or Man United?
Oh,
what do you think?
United.
Sit.
Hey.
I was there last week, mate.
You were there last week. Oh, did they do well?
We won the league last week.
You won the league last week. All right.
Yes.
I mean, football. Do we celebrate football enough? I mean, do we know enough about the history of football in the UK? Like, does there need to be a big football sculpture in?
But the football also relates to the history, because the reason why Manchester City are doing so well is because of Britain's involvement in the Middle East, essentially.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, and the deals that were made with the Saudis and the Gulf states in the post-war,
right?
And that is what led to a huge influx of money coming through to Manchester City.
Okay.
So you can actually teach history through football, I think, and I think that would make it more fun and more engaging.
Right.
You know.
So it's just the vessels, the way in which we teach football could be more interesting.
Yeah, it could be a lot more. Yeah, we could teach. You could actually teach anything. You could teach mathematics. Like angles, statistics.
Yeah.
All these things through football. Like my nephew. Sorry, just finish the point. My nephew is obsessed with football, but he hates school. So the only way really to engage him is to actually make a football-based analysis.
Oh, that's so interesting.
Ethics, you can talk about ethics as well.
Let's get a final thought. I mean, what were you working on? Let's get a final thought. Leave us with anything.
I work for WeWork, so we have office space for different companies. So meet a lot of startups and things like that.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I mean, what's the history of WeWork? Do you know?
You don't want to know the history of WeWork.
We don't
I
want to know the history of WeWork. All right.
Nearly went bankrupt 2 years ago, but we're back. Bigger than ever. Just got listed on the New York Stock Exchange last year. We're on the up. So
you're on the up.
But not if I stay here all day. I've got stuff to do.
You know what? Thank you for joining us. We're here till 6 o'clock. Let us know when you have your next tea break. Come down. Let us know how it's going. The rain is coming down. Lord Jesus. Do we know the history of rain? Oh my God. All right.
Hey. I have a question for the younger generation, because when I was at school, I always had the same thing. Why do I have to learn this? Do actually teacher now explain you why you have to learn something, or is it just learn that?
Yeah. Do you actually get to know why you're learning what you're learning?
Yeah.
Yeah. What are you learning right now at school?
We're learning about the Jewish God and stuff.
The what?
I forgot what it's called.
The Jewish?
Yeah, the Jewish gods.
The Jewish gods?
Yeah.
Oh, who are some of the Jewish gods?
Zeus and I don't remember.
We were actually talking about the Jewish community earlier, and we were talking quite a lot about the Jewish community. So you're saying there's these Jewish gods, Zeus.
I think that's a Greek god. So that's the Greek. You're talking about the Greek gods. So you've got Zeus.
Yeah.
You've got Neptune. Is that one? Neptune.
That's
Neptune's Roman.
Oh, Neptune is Roman. Okay. Greek gods.
Aphrodite. She Greek. Zeus. Hermes.
Hermes. Oh,
yeah, Athene. Yeah.
He's got it. Oh my God.
What about is it Hera? Hera. Hera. She's or Hestia. That's another one. I know.
So that means you must be in year 6. Are you in year 6?
No.
Oh, you're in year 5.
4.
Year 4.
I'm learning about how to save Ridley Road.
Oh, you're learning about how to save. How can we save Ridley Road?
By going to the shops local than buying online.
So you're learning about shopping local.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
I'm sorry, but BBC, slight chance of light rain showers. What the actual?
It's going to be raining.
What
for
the
rest
actual?
of the day.
I mean, really?
I know, honestly.
Thanks, guys. And we probably should have gone inside. Anyway.
Yeah, it's going to be raining for the rest of the day, I believe. So, yeah, I mean, wow, that's so amazing that you're learning about Greek mythology, but you're also learning about saving Really Road Market. What's some of your favourite shops in the market?
Woody Road and I don't remember what's it called, but I like this sage shop.
The sage shop. So you can buy like sage from there? Yeah. You know what? Do you know, talking about fruit and veg, do you know about the fruit and veg that's on Mare Street?
Yeah.
Yeah, what do you think about the sculptures that's there?
I really like the mango.
Okay, so there's a mango there as well. What do you like about it?
Like, the decoration is nice.
Yeah, so the decoration is lovely as well. I mean, what's some of your favourite fruits?
Watermelon.
Watermelon. Oh,
Mango.
Right. Mango.
I think that's it.
And that's it.
I like the mango as well.
You like
but I didn't realise there was a mango there. I know a mango, but I didn't realise there was a mango on the narrow way.
Oh right, okay. So there's mangoes there. Mm-hmm.
I love mangoes too.
You love mangoes too.
Yeah, but I think it's hard to get really good mangoes in the UK. So
yeah. I suppose it's about like the season, like when it is. I love mangoes. I mean, where do we want to? I'm a bit. Do you want to swap over? I feel like, let's swap. Yes, so you can stand now, baby.
And so that I don't die.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, what's so great about the fruit and veg is that, you know, you can get it locally, you can get it from your Really Road Market. We've got a new face at the table. What's your name?
My name is Osama.
Osama.
Yeah.
Okay, we got
Timna.
Edward. Kwame. I'm Elam. This is Talkaoke. It's a pop-up talk show. I mean, we've actually spoken about quite a lot today. We've spoken about we've spoken about the art sculptures that's on Mare Street. Have you seen like the sort of fruit and veg that's there? We've spoken about like how to represent history. How do we remember history through art? Is that a good way? Right now we're actually going to have a change of hosts. I don't know if you're ready yet. So right, okay, I'm going to jump out. I'm going to get in the conversation from the outside. Bear with me, guys. Stay.
That's good, because then you can give your point of view about the.
Oh my God, do I have some point?
You're getting the sound effects. Please come and join in. Tell us what you're doing today. There's a few subjects on the table. We've got Edward. We've got Kwame. What's your name?
Margot.
And what's your name? Duke. Come sit down, because I can't reach you like that. But Duke.
Yeah.
And we've got Husama. Usama. Okay, and we've got Elam, we've got Tim and Mikey. There's a few subjects on the table. There's like, is school any good? Is it fun? Are we teaching history in the right way? There's a thing about the giant fruits down on Narrow Way. What do you think of them? But this is Talkaoke, can go in any direction we want to talk about. But I know Elam, I could see from her face, in the middle of the table you've got to be neutral. So you can't. And we were talking about these sculptures, and I could see Ellen was actually busting her gut, but she's doing really well to not say her opinion. You're on the outside now, so tell us what you think. Grab the mic.
You know,
I feel like it's going to be a long one.
think. Oh no, it's not going to be so long. It's going to.
Yeah.
I think the art sculptures are really great, and I think it's such a powerful piece to represent a community. Yeah. Sometimes I think art. I think one of the great things about art is that it creates conversations.
Yeah.
And
whoa!
Hey, come on, bring on the thunder and lightning!
Yeah.
Woo! All right.
Yeah.
So one thing about art is that it's such a great way to spark conversation.
Yeah.
And I feel like the Windrush, the sort of injustice that's happened around the Windrush generation, it's not going to be sold for a sculpture, but what it does, it's a way for people to remember history through a very interesting way. And what I love about it is very tactile as well. I think it's great that children can actually like feel it. It's very sensory, so it sort of speaks to people who perhaps are visually impaired. I just think it's such a great way to, and I think it just really stands out. And also, it was something that was chosen by the community.
Right.
Like, there was a few different sculptures that were up for in the running.
Actually get involved.
And it's going to be one of many as well.
Okay.
And I just think that's one of the great things about. I mean, look, we're talking about it today, so it's doing its.
So we are
purpose.
actually it is starting a conversation.
Exactly.
I want to ask Duke, because before everyone freezes to death here, but Duke, do you know about these sculptures? Do you know about the sculptures down Narrow Way?
I've got a rough idea. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think of them? Do you think they're good? Do you think they start a conversation, as Ellen said?
Yeah, they do, definitely, whether it's positive or negative, it's not always in the public eye.
Yeah.
They'll start a conversation.
Okay, and what do you got? I know we've talked about this already. What do you think about them?
They're doing a good job.
What's that?
They're doing a good job.
You think they're doing a good job? Okay. If you were going to make a sculpture about the Windrush generation, what would you make?
A book.
A what?
A book.
A book. Okay, that's a really good idea. What sort of book would it be?
The Windrush Child.
Okay, wow, amazing. Yeah. Have you got any views on this, Simon?
Yeah, sure. It's a great way to refer to history.
Yeah.
I think art, it's a universal language. You don't need any writing or something to, speak itself. So it's a good way to show history, as I said, and to spread the culture,
Yeah. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Come and get involved in this. I know you're taking photos. You can talk as well. Talk first and then take the photos. Because as soon as you say I'm sure you're going to get, your voice is going to attract lots of people. So we've got Edward, we've got Kwame, we've got Margot, we've got Osama, we've got Ellen, we've got Timna and Mikey. What's your name?
My name is Carmen.
Carmen?
Carmen, yeah.
Maybe we're talking about this. There's a few subjects. They're all kind of connected, but it's all around the big fruits, the giant fruits down on Narrow Way. Do you know these fruits? No?
No.
Okay.
I'm not from this area, so it's something that's locally.
It's a local thing, it's very local, it's just down the road there. Up there, turn right, you'll see it. Maybe Ellen, you want to explain it very, very quickly in a couple of sentences?
Oh yes, so they're free bronze art sculptures. They're going to be there permanently, and it's just that Hackney made a commitment to kind of honour the Windrush generations through via a few sculptures, and that's the first one of a few other ones. And they're fruits that they were actually kind of difficult for the Caribbean community to get when they first came over. But so it kind of represent, and also those fruits were a way for the people who came to kind of feel a sense of home when they were in the UK. So I just think, I think like what you were saying earlier, Mikey, sometimes history can often be represented in such a traumatic way. You said the Holocaust is always very is the word solemn?
Yeah.
It's represented in that way, but I feel like there's so many stories of joy.
Yeah.
Even during the Holocaust, there's stories of joy that were happening in that time, as difficult as it was. And also what stories represent the personality of the people, because sometimes I feel like sometimes the difficulties kind of overshadow the actual human stories that were there during that time. And I think this fruit, it may be fruit, but my gosh, what a dialogue it's creating. And I think that's the proud thing about art. It really does create a conversation and dialogue about history, the present day, and also the future as well.
Okay, well, that's an amazing speech. Carmen, does that tell you anything?
It gives me a little bit of insight that there's is it locally growing fruit that is now being grown, or is it a sculpture?
It's a sculpture of a soursop fruit, a breadfruit, and there's one more, but I don't remember. And a jackfruit as well. So.
I feel like I'm caught in the camera crossfire here. Go on, Margot, what do you want to say?
I was just thinking, because obviously the sculpture's commemorating something that happened some time ago, but I wonder as Hackney is right now, or as the world is, as it is right now, what would be the sculpture of now? What would we be commemorating?
Because Edward was saying, I want to make a book about the child
idea
of Windrush. I think it's a brilliant idea.
But I wonder what, if we were to kind of say, okay, we're going to commemorate the kind of current thing, what is the thing that we want to commemorate in a book, in a story, or in a sculpture, on a series of
today? Okay.
Anything that's significant?
Yeah. Any thoughts, Kwame? What would you want to commemorate?
I don't know.
Don't know. Was one to think about maybe. Yeah, go on.
You know what? I love the way of like how history can be represented through food. You know, we mentioned the bagels earlier, and I just think about the bagel shop, Bagel Bake on Brick Lane, and how that is very much a Jewish. You know, that is Jewish history there. The people who work there are Jewish.
Sound effects,
and like even the menu is very Jewish. You know, the salmon and cream cheese. And also as well, like whenever I talk to Jewish people and we have, you know, I might be talking to someone who I might not know is Jewish and I'll mention like the bagel bake, and then you can have a real conversation about Jewish history through that. And I just kind of like the way food is a really great way to
food is a way.
Bring the past into present, you know. So
because food is very hopefully very present and very now. Maybe we could go round and just, you know, maybe people have got a particular food stuff. I'm kind of there with the donut stroke bagel in the middle here, but what kind of food stuffs would you kind of, you know, use to represent? We talked about it a little bit before. I'm going to start off over here with Timna. Have you got a food that you think is very emotive or representative for you?
Yes, I actually brought it, the pinkish things you ate.
The chocolate wafers that I stuffed in my face. Yeah.
Yeah, I still have some more, so you can try if you want to, because they're from Austria, and you can. I actually also get them in London, and they're just like I always ate them when I was a kid, and so so for me it's like emotionally like thinking about my childhood, where I come from, and
okay, so it's pink wafer. And Carmen, have you got a food stuff that's emotive for you?
Emotive food for me, it's like I'm mixed heritage, so my mother's from Sierra Leone and Ghana, my dad's from Jamaica, so and then I married a man who's Portuguese from Mozambique, and so it's been a collection of different foods that just always make me happy.
Yeah, so it's more like a buffet.
Yeah, exactly that. It really is.
Okay.
But the ones that really home in are the ones from my grandmother. You know, we like the cassava leaves and the cassava and that kind of West African kind of traditional foods. Those ones make me really happy.
Okay. Can you say a little bit what cassava is? Just
well, what's exciting about it is cassava is obviously a plant, but across different cultures we consume this in various different ways. So like people from the Caribbean would have like the cassava itself, which is like yam, like the family of potatoes, and then the West African side would have the leaves and would cook a dish called cassava leaves, whereas they wouldn't actually have the actual boiled cassava itself. So it's interesting to see how one plant can become produce to so many different cultures in different ways.
Amazing. So actually there's a connection there. I'm going around the table, Ellen.
That in itself, saying that brings cultures together in a sense, right?
Okay, so food is definitely working. I can see that. Edward, have you got an emotive food? What food do you think really connects with your roots? Hello, come and join in, come and have a seat. And there's no age limit here on Talkaoke, come and sit down as well. At the moment we're talking about foods. Have you got a food that is emotive for you? So far we've got the wafers and we've got cassava. Edward's thinking about it. Kwame, have you got an emotive food? What food brings you joy?
Chicken.
Chicken. Hang on, I've got a sound effect for that. Okay, tell us your name.
Dennis.
What was it?
Ezel Dennis.
Dennis. Have you got a favourite food?
Yeah.
What is it? What is it?
Down the way.
I'll come back to you on that. We know you've got a favourite food, we just don't know what it is. We're halfway there. Have you got a favourite food and what's your name?
Zerdu.
Zerdia. Was it?
Zerdu.
Zerdin. Okay, and what's your favourite foods?
Anything with high amounts of sweet in it.
Okay, so hang on, I've got sound effect for that. And tell us your name. Have you got a favourite emotive food? Come on, you grab the mic. Come on, you can do it. Grab the mic.
Elif.
What's your name?
Elif. E-L-I-F.
Elif.
Yeah.
Have you got favourite foods?
Yeah, Turkish dolma. I don't know if you know. We call dolma.
Dolma?
Yeah.
Dolma. Oh,
Sarma dolma.
Ah, yes.
I love them. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Chocolate.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So we're talking about foods. Have you got an emotive food?
I don't have any specific, my food, but I like, fruits in general.
Yeah. But is there like a food that Carmen mentioned her grandmother and the cassava. I mean, it was a bit of a story. Have you got anything passed down from grandparents or anything like that?
I can go with tagine. It's a North African meal.
Yeah.
So in which we have Moroccan meal. Since I'm from Morocco, we have different vegetables and meat.
Yeah.
So it's prepared in a pot.
Yeah.
So you cook all the stuff and you put spices on it.
Yeah.
And you wait until it's cooked.
How long do you wait?
For 3-4 hours.
3 or 4 hours. Well, that's a long time to wait. Yeah.
Because the heat should be so very, low in order for it, gentle for it to be cooked well.
Okay.
With gas prices increasing, are people cooking in the UK? Are people cooking
hang on a sec, let me
tagines for 4 hours?
Let me get a final thought from Edward before I go. Give us a final thought before you go.
What I was thinking about before.
Yeah, go on. Yeah, I mean, what's been the biggest point for you here today?
Talking with you guys.
Okay, but what was your favourite comment?
The gods.
The gods, okay. Talking about the gods, the Greek gods. So, sorry, Ellen, let me come back. Hang on a sec. Let me get a final thought from you. What's your final thought?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Well, that's good. That's good. Kwame, are you off as well? Give us a final thought.
These taste nice.
Okay. Have you ever been to Austria?
No.
Does that give you a bit of intrigue into Austrian ways?
Yeah.
Okay, so that is Austria. Remember Austria. Okay. What are you going to say, Ellen? Sorry.
I was just going to say it's really interesting. Oh, yeah, I was just saying how, I wonder what impact the increased cost of living, the increase in gas prices will have on some of our, cooking traditions and techniques.
Yeah.
I know you're saying it takes about 4 hours to cook a tagine, and I know some curries in different communities also takes a long time. So I'm wondering if people are going to adapt their ways of cooking, cook certain dishes less.
Is it going to be more raw foods? Okay, we've got a new face at the table. Come sit down for a minute, because every time you sit down, the crowds come. So we need you here on the table. We've got you've just have you got a final thought, Elif? A final thought? You didn't give us a final thought.
You said we were going to go on TV.
What's that?
You said we're going to go on TV. I said no.
Well, you have to say a bit of practice, and you will be there ready for it. All it takes is just coming to more Talkaokes. We're going to be in the Isle of Dogs tomorrow, so be ready for that. I've got a new face over here. Tell us your name.
Eli.
Eli. We've got Margot. We've got Timna. We have got Ellen. We've got Usama and.
Feiruz.
What is it?
Feiruz.
Yeah. And we've got Carmen over here and Mikey. At the moment, there's a few subjects. There's there's the thing that Ellen's brought in about the inflation. There's the favourite foods. Have you got an emotive food that sort of speaks about your culture or your past, your heritage? And come and join in. We need you. We don't know yet. We don't know. Come and help us out here. We've got listen down here. Listen closer. We don't know yet. There's a few things. There's the thing about the food. I don't know if you've seen the sculpture down there. Have you seen the sculpture down there? Yeah. What do you think of it? What? I mean, what? I can't hear you from over there. Come closer. Come. Come back in a bit. Come on. We'll probably still be talking about it. Could you explain what this stripy thing round your neck is? Arsenal. Anyway, we were talking. Come and sit down. It shouldn't be such a struggle because I'm just trying to conduct a conversation here. Eli, what is your emotive food? Yeah.
Ackee and saltfish.
Ackee. What does that say about you and about
me?
Yeah.
I'm Caribbean, so it's part of the culture.
Part of the Caribbean culture.
Yeah, part of the Caribbean culture.
Yeah,
definitely.
Okay. I mean, going back to that, we kind of are. It was all about this sculpture that's down there. Do you think that is a good way to sort of investigate Caribbean culture?
I would need to look at it again and have 3 or 4 looks to give you a full.
So the jury's still out on that one.
Yeah, the jury's still out on that one.
Yeah. Okay.
I was just wondering when we were talking about emotive foods, because like I'm from Poland, so a lot of the things which are emotive to me, food-wise, are based on meat, and I wonder whether commemorating that is just a little bit passé these days, where we are really thinking about sustainability and animals, and whether it's will we be, in 5 years' time, will we be making, restaurants like, regional restaurants, which are just vegan?
Okay. Final thought for Simon, thank you.
Yeah, thank you about the concepts. So I wish we all eat healthy.
Okay, well, I mean, that is a point. That's actually what we're supposed to be talking about. So today is that there is a health theme.
I'm wondering, like, what does healthy food mean to different people? Because healthy, some people can mean having a burger every day, while other people maybe not.
And also, there's the mental well-being. The ackee and saltfish gives a positive boost to Eli, and some kind of meat-based dish to Margot, but it's positive. But is it healthy physically? So there's that kind of question as well. And we're getting all overwhelmed by photographers at the moment. Well, come and join in and say a few. At the moment, we're talking about what is an emotive food for you. We've got ackee and saltfish. We've got tagine from Osama. We've got your fun thought, kind of. We've got. What have we got from you? We didn't get emotive food from you, did we? We got the wafers.
Peanut butter and banana on toast with chia seeds topped with almond butter and banana topped with chia seeds with a little bit of honey on top. That's my emotive food.
Okay.
On gluten-free bread, of course.
On gluten-free bread. What culture does that speak of?
You know what? I'm not sure where peanut butter and banana, cashew nut butter and banana on toast comes from. I don't know where that comes from. But it's a new discovery of mine, so maybe I'm the one that discovered it. I don't know. It's my discovery.
Okay, so Ellen's own creation. I'm sorry, what was your name again? Feiruz. Have you got an emotive food, a food that you connect with?
Like basically what she said, anything with meat.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Any particular type of meat?
So I'm a Moroccan, so I can say couscous.
Yeah.
It has vegetables and meat or chicken.
Yeah.
And then we have, what is it called? Couscous, the thing. It's couscous. It's called couscous.
Okay, what is couscous? We don't know, but it doesn't matter. And tell us your name and tell us your emotive food.
My name is Paul.
Paul, welcome.
I think it's got to be Maltesers.
Maltesers? Are you from Malta?
Yes, that's right. Can you not tell?
Yeah, well, I mean, now it's obvious, but why Maltesers?
I don't know. They just.
Yeah.
It's a really sad one, isn't it? But it's the food that helps me just switch off.
Right. Okay.
And box of Maltesers.
Yeah.
Film on the telly. Forget about work. Forget about your troubles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so one of the interesting things and the connections we're making here is the foods that are good for our mental health are bad for our physical health. And this is one of the...
Maltesers are actually good for you.
Are they? Okay.
Full of air. Full of air.
Full of air. Okay, air is good for you. Was that... Yeah. Was there a point over here?
No, I'd just like to say thank you. I need to go back to my youth work responsibilities.
Okay, give us a final thought before you go.
This was amazing.
Okay, and so, where do you want to take this conversation? We talked about so many things today. And maybe you can help us in terms of direction, because we talked about a lot about history, a lot about foods, about culture, about representation, about inflation. I mean, where would you want this conversation to go? A bit about health as well, and that's what this is really supposed to be about today. But where would you want this conversation to go, Eli?
More people. So yeah, just expand it in as many ways possible.
Okay, so just anywhere really, just like
put it on Instagram Live.
Yeah,
have a poll.
Yeah.
Instagram handle is?
No,
we are the People Speak.
I don't know what our Instagram
on Instagram, the People Speak on Twitter, but check us out on Instagram.
The_People Speak. The_People Speak. Come and join in Help us with some of these discussions.
Sometimes I just think I don't think there's such thing as a good food and bad food. I feel like we shouldn't label food. Food is food. You know, and I think there's Maltese is not bad. You know, for you it's food. And
we're being a bit too judgmental about food.
I honestly think when it comes to food now, there's too much judgment around food. You know, and we need to change that.
Okay, Timna?
I totally agree on that. I think that like every personality is like unique. Everybody is unique, so everybody the body needs each body needs different
Hang
things.
on a sec, Farouz, I want a final thought from you. You know the drill.
Okay.
Give us a final thought.
Like she said, it depends on the person. I can't like eat like always meat. I can eat chicken. I can eat like even vegan or whatever. But it depends. So the food, it's related to
depends on the mood.
Yeah, it depends
the
on
food
the mood.
depends on the mood.
Like we all said, like meat, Maltesers, and she spoke about sweets. So it's different. It has different notion from each person to another.
Okay.
Well, thank you.
Thank you very much. Hang on, Osama. Oh, you've given us a final thought already, haven't you? I can't. But now we need another final thought.
Thank you for the concept. I finally agree that you know everybody likes something different. We shouldn't judge food, you know.
Maybe a bit too judgmental.
Yeah, because food is food after all, you know.
Okay.
So the most important thing is that you should enjoy what you're eating. That's that way you will, you know, satisfy your stomach and satisfy your, you know, mental.
You need to satisfy your soul.
Yeah, you satisfy your soul as well. Not only your stomach, just eating for eating, but you know, eating and enjoying it at the same time. It's
okay. Thank you very much. Shukran.
Thank you so much.
You know, I think one thing that really made me think about how we talk about food was a couple of years ago I came across a conversation online about how food which is described as clean food or skinny food actually is triggering for people that have eating disorders.
What do you mean?
So basically, like in the healthy food sort of network or the healthy food community, food was labelled as like clean food, etc. You know, you had like, you know, and actually, like a lot of people that had eating disorders said that it was quite triggering to sort of have food labelled as clean because, like for example, I don't remember the ins and outs as to what. For example, like I don't know, maybe like broccoli, that's clean food, or maybe like a acai bowl or a acai bowl is clean food because it doesn't. You know, like I don't know if you know that Brazilian fruit called acai. And then you can put like the banana on top and it looks very pretty. Something like that was labelled as clean food because it quote unquote doesn't have any like sugar or fats. But the main issue about clean food is that it's not fatty, and for people that have like an eating disorder and are afraid of putting on weight, it was triggering for them. That's what they were sort of saying.
Triggering in what way?
In what way? Because clean means like, so dirty food is like a burger, right? So like if you label like, I don't know, a salad as clean, you know, to be honest with you, I'm talking but I don't really remember the ins and outs of it. So thank you. I need to listen to that podcast again about it. But
so
it made
something
me think.
to do with like broccoli is triggering in some way.
Or the labelling of it as clean food, you know?
So it's a labelling of broccoli is difficult. Come and have a seat, come and get involved in this. This is Talkaoke. We've got Margot, we've got Timna, and we've got Elan. Who are you?
What are you going to ask me?
Well, it's a free-form Talkaoke, so it can be anything. At the moment, we've been talking a lot about the sculpture down on Narrow Way. I don't know what you think about that.
Okay, I'll come back, I promise.
And
you're on about the free fruits on the floor.
What do you think about it?
Ones.
What do you think?
Well, obviously I will because that's where I'm from, isn't it?
But some people have said that is not the right way to celebrate it. Other people have said they love it. So it's.
I do love it, but where they put it, I don't think it's appropriate. Even though I know everyone shops there regular, so you can't miss it. But you know, I think we deserve more than a little tiny spot there by the graveyard. By
what
St.
would you
John's.
like to see then? If you had a big budget to spend on art, what would you make?
I'd want somewhere where we can all go and see not only those free fruits, but other things, art, painting, talk black history, culture, all sorts of things. Because that's just 3 fruits, but what does that represent? I know, you know what I'm trying to say anyway, I know what I'm trying to say. Do you remember the fruits down Mare Street and the Narrowway, Akai? You remember them? You know the 3 big ones? The sour sop? He doesn't remember. Yeah, but yeah, I'm not saying I'm a sort of up and down because I don't like where it is, to be quite honest.
Yeah, where would you want to put it?
I don't know, but it wouldn't be there. I don't know.
Question number 1, would it be fruit, and where would you put that sculpture? I'm just intrigued because I used to live in Hackney, but I don't anymore, so I'm out of the loop.
Maybe in an open park somewhere, or an open park, not just there where the shopping area is. I don't like it there anyway, and I can't speak for everyone.
Come sit down, come and get involved in this.
I just got here, and I want him to. We just got here, yeah.
Yeah, we're here all afternoon. We're here all afternoon. We've got a new face to the table. Tell us your name.
I haven't got my voice today.
Okay, are you going to give us a name?
So I'm just in sign language.
Anonymous. Okay, Ellen.
There's always this conversation about art and accessibility, and in Hackney, you know, a lot of the art in galleries isn't accessible, and what I love about those sculptures, it really brings art into the community. You know, I love the way that you can like see art while you are shopping, and there's a pub next door. I just think it's great, you know. That's the point I wanted to make there.
Okay, so on the high street, not out in the park. Yeah. Okay. Come and have a seat on the table of chat. Yes, that's you. We have got Ellen. We have got. Come on, 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Come on. Yes, you can. Where's the applause? We're getting light on the applause. Okay. Another point.
You know that eye care trolley is so handy. That eye care trolley is so handy. I have one myself. Honestly, so cheap, and like I've used it to pick up my free cycle fine so many times.
Okay, so tell us your name. Come on, get involved in this.
Emmanuel.
Emmanuel, and who have we got here?
Natalie.
Natalie. Okay, we have got Margot, Anonymous, and we've got Timna, we've got Ella, and Mikey. At the moment, there's a few subjects floating around. There's a thing about food. Does food need to be? What is it? Something about food. Clean eating, does it need to actually, if it's something that is good for the soul, it tends to be something unhealthy, like all the emotive foods. We had a guy whose favourite food was Maltesers, and it represented his culture. And other people, it's the ackee and saltfish. Other people, it's the wafers, the Austrian wafers. So, but they all tend to be unhealthy foods. So, is what's good for the soul bad for the body? Is kind of one subject. Then we're talking about the sculpture down on Narrowway. There's a bit about that. It's also food related, I suppose, food and culture. So these are some of the things. I don't know if you've got any views on that yet.
Yeah. I mean, I just don't think people should feel guilty when they eat food. That's why I think I don't like labeling food as good or bad or clean or dirty, because I hate when someone's like, oh, you know, I'm going to have a burger. Oh, I feel so bad for eating a burger. No, enjoy the burger.
Enjoy the burger.
You know, enjoy the chocolate. That's why it's there. No such thing as good or bad food. Even food with preservatives. I'm gluten intolerant, and people are always like, oh my God, the gluten-free cake has got so much preservatives in it. I don't care. I'm eating the cake because I enjoy the cake, and that's it. You know? Oh no, do you want me to get something?
No, I don't know what's going on here. Anyway, we're talking about, Timna?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that I totally agree with you, Elam. When I'm a huge sweet tooth, and when I find myself in a situation like eating cake, and I see like, oh, you know how many calories, and like, I don't care. I wouldn't eat the cake if I like would care about it. Yeah. So and this is the point which I think his name was Hussein, say like we should appreciate food not only for our tummy but also for our soul. So like,
Yeah. Okay. So are we a bit? Do we focus on Emmanuel?
Yeah. I mean, I used to agree with that. I don't really agree with it anymore because it's like good, clean, healthy food. It's like food that's not good for you. It's easier to eat. It's faster. You know, you enjoy it, but it's short-term happiness, you know. I know these sort of things don't really kick in until, like, even if just switching like 1 meal a day or 1 meal a week for something nicer gives you like 3 extra years in your life, I feel like it's worth it. And it's like, yeah, normally the food that's not too nice, maybe it's a bit more expensive, you know, but it's like, if it can give you 3, 4, 5 more years of like better living, you know, I feel like it's worth it. So I feel like there should be a bigger importance in eating. It shouldn't be a thing where you're looking at other people, what they're eating, but it should definitely be an internal thing where we are pushing people to actually strive to eat cleaner food. Yeah.
What is a good food for you?
I mean, yeah, not gonna lie, I do like my pizzas, but I also, I do like my pizzas myself, but I mean, of course.
We've got Pembury Tavern.
Oh yeah, those pizzas are crazy nice. But I like my pizzas. But I also like a fruit salad. Yeah, a little bit of dressing though. Yeah.
Okay, so go on, Margot.
I just wondered, because we were talking about like the meaning of the fruit in a narrow way, and I mean, maybe we should just put up like a public sculpture which is like, I don't know, like porridge. I don't know how you make a lead or bronze sculpture of a porridge flake. Maybe you could. It'd be quite cool. But maybe just get something that people can get on board and like on board with. So not like of historical value, but just like, hey, this is good. We're looking to the future. Porridge is good. There you go. There's a sculpture of porridge. I think it would make people happy. I like that.
I mean, I guess some foodstuffs make better sculptures than others, don't they? Like porridge be a good.
But I mean, look, they do a really nice porridge, but porridge originates from Ireland, right? I think about Irish cut.
Really?
So oats in particular, it comes from Ireland, I believe.
Yeah.
So maybe that's something that represents the Irish community. I mean, I recently learned how to cook a good porridge, and I'm quite proud of myself, actually.
Yeah.
But on the point about good quality, like in terms of encouraging people to eat healthy to prolong life, I kind of just feel like, you know what, this obsession with eating healthy, I think it can actually shorten your life, because sometimes I think it can cause a lot of anxiety worrying so much about the food we eat, you know. I think a lot of food that was once deemed as unhealthy is actually healthy. For example, like your coconut oil, that's healthy now. However, that was once deemed as unhealthy. So I don't know, I'm in two minds about, and I honestly think, like, when you push too much about like make people feel bad for eating food, it probably creates like a cycle of like self-hatred and beating yourself up whenever you have like a burger. If you just present food as food, then I don't know, I think people have a bit more healthier attitude towards it, and then end up eating healthy anyway, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe
Don't know if I'm making sense here.
The bicycle people in into this conversation. Is it a cycle of unhappiness? Where you've got over there, and how do you fix that cycle? That could be how we bring in the bicycle people into this.
My flatmate's daughter, she went to university. She's in Bristol at the moment. But one of the first things that she did is she joined a historical society.
Yeah.
As part of that, I didn't know any of this, but as part of that, they dress up in medieval English like outfits, and they cook medieval food in the medieval. I don't know exactly what they cook, because I just don't know, but I just thought that's interesting. Apparently all of it is bland, it has no flavour, which is like fair enough, but these people do it for history. They do it because they want to be authentic, and I really rate that. I don't know if I would do it, but
it comes back to actually a discussion we were having earlier on about how to make history a bit more, because we were talking about the Windrush history, but also all the other histories. How do you actually get into that history? Maybe it's by cooking medieval food, for example. Come and have a seat. Hello. We have got Natalie, we've got Emmanuel, we've got Margot, we've got and we've got Timna, we've got Ellen, and we've got Edward. Come and join in. You've got yourself a scarf. Tell us your name.
Richard.
Richard and Mikey.
Charlie.
Charlie. And at the moment we're talking about how to sort of, in a way, the food and the emotional connection of food, but also the historical connection of food. Did you know, for example, that medieval food was bland and tasteless?
Almost certainly. Probably because they hadn't introduced spices from Asia or many other countries. So consequently their food would have been just locally grown. It would have been wheat, it would have been corn, but they would have, particularly if they were poor, they would have had no concept, no idea of spicing, even salt was very, very expensive.
Right.
So consequently, they wouldn't have eaten it. It's only the introduction of salt, which the wealthy brought in, and pepper. Would you believe that when if you were at your age and you were living on a farm, say out in, because cities weren't very big at the time, you lived on a farm somewhere, what do you think you would be eating? You might eat some chicken, maybe? Do you like chicken? Yeah. Do you like chicken with salt and pepper? You wouldn't have had any salt, or you wouldn't have had any pepper.
I mean, are we kind of almost taking for granted some of those things that we talked about pizza, we talked about,
I mean, I think it's so interesting how, like, the sort of British food palette has developed over the years. Like, I love the fact that you said that, spice sort of came from maybe India. Oh, we got some final thoughts behind.
Hang on. Thank you, Ellen. Let's get some final thought. Emmanuel, Natalie, let's get a final thought from you, Emmanuel, and an initial thought from Natalie.
I personally feel like we should definitely push people to eat healthier because, it's like you get to not start getting diseases early on, so 3 more years of better living is worth just a couple meals.
When should we start sort of?
I think it should just be a family thing, like within your own family, with whatever you consider being healthy, you should push. So it doesn't have to be like only eating fruits, but switching up chips for maybe like sweet potatoes, you know what I mean?
Okay.
So yeah.
That's a good one. Switch up the chips from sweet potatoes. Natalie, final thought?
I mean, it's been a very interesting conversation. I feel like I'm vegetarian, so I get a lot of what do you eat. So I think learning about the history of things would be very helpful for
the
communities.
History of foods.
Yeah, foods and like what else can be made with, not the usual chicken and meat as well. So.
Okay, so do you think we're just not being imaginative enough with our food?
Sometimes, but I think London especially is getting better at that. So
Okay. All right, that's a good final thought. Thank you, Natalie. We've suddenly got loads of people around the table. Let's do a quick round of names. So I remember Richard, but I've forgotten your name. What's your name?
Charlie.
Charlie, that's right. And
Leanna.
And Edward. And tell us your name.
Suzanne.
And
Elam.
And
Timna. Juliet. Kelsey.
Kelsey.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to swivel this way.
Fatuma.
And
Killian. Kirby.
Welcome.
And the Invisible Man here.
And the Invisible Man with no name.
What's your name?
Okay, so where do we want to go? We've got a spare seat here if you want to join in. Where do we want to talk about healthy foods? Do we want to talk about the history of food? Do we want to talk about food and it's up to you. Where are we going to go with this conversation?
Is there anybody who knows anything about Spanish food? What do you know about Spanish food?
You should jump in the middle here and do my job. Yeah, go on.
I know that most Spanish food is quite spicy.
Okay, and where does that come from, the spice?
I'm actually not quite sure.
Okay.
Mexico?
Mexico. Okay, so the Spanish spice comes from Mexico. That's really interesting.
Do you know why? Do you know why it comes? Why it's spicy? Let's say, if I was to tell you that Spain is a very big country, north of Spain, it's mostly fish. Do you want to join us? We're talking about food, that's all.
It's a pop-up talk show. It's Talkaoke.
Sit down, join us.
2 minutes, there's no commitment.
Yeah, join us. You don't have to say anything, you can just listen in. There you are.
Come back later. Anyway, we're talking about fish, we're talking about spices, we're talking about Mexico. What's your name again?
Suzanne.
Suzanne mentioned Mexico. That's where the spice comes from.
The reason, if I can tell you, because it might be interesting to you, that parts of Spain, the southern part of Spain, the bottom part of Spain, was occupied by the Moors, who were from North Africa. Now they were Muslims who used a lot of spice. So when they came over and they took over the southern part of Spain, they would add all sorts of spices like paprika and chili. Who likes chili? Do you like chili? Everybody likes chili and they introduced it, and then a lot of Spanish people went to Mexico and they began to use the spices from there. Where do you think the potato comes from? Where does chip come from? Where does a chip come from?
Okay.
The chip from the potato.
And where does the potato come from?
A plant.
And where does the plant originate?
a seed.
From a seed, okay. Well, I feel Richard wanted a bit more from that. That's on this side, potatoes. Where do potatoes come from? Suzanne is our food originator expert. So
Germany.
Germany? Okay, we've got... oh, the sound effects is dead, so I don't know what's going on with that. So, Germany. Any other... Where does the potato originate from?
Spain.
Spain? Does it originate from Spain?
Mexico.
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 South America.
That's where the potato comes from. And when they went there and they found these potatoes they were using, sweet potatoes from Jamaica, from the West Indies, they brought these potatoes and they brought them to England and nobody knew what they were. They didn't know what, and then eventually they went, oh, we could eat these. And that's where your chips comes from the potato.
What was the first thought before they thought about eating them?
They would have brought them over and they would have used them. They would have used them just to make food a bit more starchy. Because before you have a potato, have you ever used a potato in a soup or something like that? Do your parents use the potato? Well, when you introduce a potato to something, it makes it a bit more, makes the liquid a bit thicker.
Okay.
And
there's a point over here. Do you use potatoes?
I do.
Are you aware of the origin of potatoes?
No, I just learned now.
Yeah, okay. I mean, is it important to know where food comes from, or is it just more important to eat it?
It is important to know how it has been made for me.
Oh, so it's more about the recipe and and
the recipe, how it has, what they use to make it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you got a particular favourite food stuff?
To be honest, I'm not takeaway person. I like to make my own food.
Yeah.
So I cook a lot.
Yeah.
So my favourite part is I eat most rice.
Yeah.
And different vegetables and everything. I can cook anything.
Where does rice come from?
I know from India and is it Thailand? No?
I don't know, I'm just asking.
Thailand and India, yeah.
Let me just come to Suzanne. You said you've got a favourite food. We talked earlier on about an emotive food. Is it an emotive food?
I'm really in love with spicy food.
You really, really like spicy food? Have you got a favourite spicy dish?
Yeah.
What is it?
Chips with spice.
What is it?
Chips.
Spicy chips?
Yeah.
Okay, are they doing spicy chips over there?
No.
Okay, well maybe that's a question for the people over there. So we're talking about emotive foods. Is it important to know where our foods are coming from? We've got a couple of new faces. Tell us your names.
Pierre.
And
Gabby.
We're talking about food, but we're also talking about the history of food. Are we learning history in the right way? Is it in a boring way? This whole conversation was actually started off by the fruits down narrow way. Do you know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Are they a good way of talking about culture, of talking about history? Should there be more food in history? These are some of the questions that are... should there be more history in food as well, for that matter? These are some of the questions. Have you got favourite foods?
Watermelon and strawberries.
And where does watermelon come from? From where?
Lots of different countries.
From lots of different countries. Someone needs to get on Wikipedia with this because we don't know where anything comes from. Timna, I'll come to you in a second, Suzanne.
I have no idea where watermelons come from. I know in Croatia you can get them because the watermelons from Austria come from Croatia. But I wanted to say you were asking if food needs more history, and there is one art industry which is called data food, where they mix up food with data. So for example, they make sausages and they link it with information about the corruption index, and for example then in
are sausages particularly corrupt?
I don't think so, but they link it with for example I know about one project where they had there was a story about toilet paper.
Yeah.
No, they put toilet paper into the sausage, and because there was a story about not the story, but corruption index of Bulgaria is way higher than the UK, for example. So the sausage from Bulgaria had way more toilet paper in it. But now I'm coming back to the story. Yeah, that actually there was a story that they put. I think they had lasagna, and they put to earn more money, instead of putting in meat, they put in toilet paper, clean one. But
all right, so the amount of toilet paper in sausages is linked to the corruption in the country. What about a lasagna? Do you know what's in your food? Is the question there? Go on, Suzanne.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Why did people put toilet paper in sausages?
Why did they put toilet paper in the sausages? Anyone want to answer that? Any thoughts?
I think as I said earlier about adding potatoes, it means it adds a thickener. So, for example, I'm going to let you into a little secret. If you look across the road, there's a green shop.
Yeah.
A green shop next to the post office. Do you know what it is?
Alcohol shop.
Alcohol shop.
But what is it? If you can see it from here, you can read above the door.
There's a bus in the way at the moment.
Oh, all right.
It's gone now.
I know.
What is it?
Spanish foods.
It's a Spanish food.
Who do you think that shop belongs to?
A Spanish person. A Spanish person. A Spanish person.
Am I Spanish?
No.
But that's my shop.
Oh, where's my?
That's why I know about and what I mean about making a filling like
they
potato.
Use toilet paper in Spanish?
No, they don't use. But what they do, relative to you, they have like a black pudding, you know, which is a blood pudding, and they make this blood pudding.
Yeah.
And it's like haggis. It's not like haggis. It's like British black pudding. Most countries have a black pudding, and that means it just used the blood of an animal, and they make a sausage from it or something. But in order to fill it out, they put rice in it,
right?
Because that gives it a body. It makes it solid. So that's why probably, as you say, they put toilet paper in, because there's nothing wrong with toilet paper, obviously, providing it's clean. But if it's clean, then it's just a filler. It gives something a bit more.
Body. We're talking about filler. We're talking about body. Would you eat a sausage with toilet paper in it? What about one with rice in it? Would you eat a sausage with rice in it?
No.
Yeah.
A sausage with rice does sound nice.
Okay. Yeah.
So I don't think that that they're really like sausages. There should be sausages with toilet paper. It's just like that. They did it to earn more money. So
so
yeah.
It's about money in the end.
When we once went to Bradford, and I'm Polish, and there's a lot of Polish shops there, and there was a big Polish shop which was run by Indian guys, and I found that super confusing, because in a way, like, that's fair enough, they run a shop, but I think they just kind of tapped into some kind of niche there, which is quite a large niche in Bradford. But I was a bit like, why are you running this shop?
Okay, so can you run a shop? Richard's running a Spanish food shop. He's not Spanish.
I'm from Hackney.
You're from Hackney.
I'm from Hackney. I was born here a long time ago.
Yeah.
And I'm running a Spanish shop. Why do you think? You tell me. What? Go on.
Because you have Spanish heritage.
No. Okay.
He likes Spanish food, and the Spanish food costs a lot of money.
Okay, so you can make a bit of money with Spanish foods, yeah?
Maybe because he knows quite a lot about Spanish foods.
Okay, is it about knowledge?
Maybe he'd like more experience towards like different foods.
Okay, and what's your favourite food?
Probably burgers.
Burgers. Where do burgers come from?
Cows.
Cows. But where does the idea of a burger come from? What country?
He doesn't know.
Okay, does anyone know?
America.
America, okay. So that's an American food. Do you need to be American to sell a burger? No, you say no.
No.
No. I mean, what's your favourite foods?
Chicken nuggets.
And where does that come from?
Chickens.
But where does the idea for making a chicken nugget come from?
Canada.
Canada, okay. Ellen.
Can I get a nice chocolate and churros in your spandelli?
Get a what? A what?
A nice chocolate con churros.
What is that?
It's a Spanish sort of dessert. It's really nice thick chocolate, and you can dip the churros is like a donut. like a long donut that you can dip in the hot chocolate.
Okay.
And it's lovely.
Okay, so Spanish food is quite good, so it makes sense to run a Spanish food shop. There's a point over here from Charlie.
Actually, a churro is just like a sponge cake with chocolate inside it.
Okay. Okay, do you like churros?
I've never actually had them before.
You never had one? Maybe now's the time to speak to Richard and see if there's any there. Okay, so where are we going to go with this conversation? We're talking about food. Earlier on, we're talking about healthy food. Is there such a thing as healthy and unhealthy foods? Are we a bit obsessed with it? That's one of the things that was being said earlier on. Is food that makes you happy good foods?
Lots of food make people happy, but most of the foods aren't good. Like for Salu, burgers make him happy, but burgers aren't good for him if he wants to be a footballer.
Why are burgers not good for you?
They have a lot of fat and stuff in them.
Okay.
And they're from cows who go moo.
And is it true that the nicest foods are also the unhealthiest foods?
No, because one of my favourite fruits are like strawberries and watermelons, and they're not unhealthy.
Okay.
They're sweet and juicy.
We're going to move this around. What's your favourite foods?
Chicken.
I'll come back to you on that one. I'm going to come over here.
It's not that my favourite food. I just want to say there's really not such thing as like a healthy food.
Yeah.
Because like any food really, if you have too much of it, can like affect your body negatively.
So it's more about the amounts.
Yeah, and it's more about like the balance.
A balance. Okay. So what do you mean by balance?
Like you can have some fat. You can have some like vegetables and fruits. You can have some dairy. You can have all types of different things, but not have too much of them. Because even with vegetables, without meat, for example, your bones won't be as strong.
Right. Okay.
So yeah.
So a bit of everything, really.
Yeah.
So it's more like unhealthy is too much of stuff.
Like even though some foods say that they're healthy, they could contain like artificial sweeteners, artificial colours, which are really bad.
Why are they bad?
Because they contain lots of sugar.
Okay, so the sugar is bad.
My only concern is about cereals.
Yeah.
The cereal that has been made, different ones for children.
Yeah.
They're making a lot of money
by
putting different Lego for the kids to be attracted to it, but that deep down is not healthy.
Right.
Is without adding sugar, is already contain a lot of sugar in it, so it's affecting. For example, my children, they don't eat sweet every day or every time. It's occasionally, but they're having toothache already. They're having problem with their teeth because of that.
Okay, so cereals, what do people think? Who has cereals for breakfast? There's a lot of people having cereal. You'll say no. Why not? You guys don't do it. Okay.
I'm not a type of person to
You're not a cereal type of person. This is Talkaoke Pop-Up Talk Show. At the moment we're talking about foods. Is there such thing as an unhealthy food? And is it actually...
What happens when you eat too much sugar all of your life?
Teeth start to rot and like your insides like turn bad and...
Okay. Do you feel like you've had too much sugar, Richard?
Almost certainly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's not a new thing necessarily, the sugar. We're talking about...
I believe that there's no such thing as an unhealthy food, because you have to eat certain foods in a certain amount. For example, if you have too much strawberries, it's actually going to be bad for you because it has sugar in it.
Right, so you can have too many strawberries. Okay.
Yeah.
So what about cereal?
Cereals, they contain quite a lot of sugar. Most of them, on boxes of cereal, they make them look all nice, but they have a lot of sugar in it most of the time.
So you're agreeing about the point about sugar, that about cereals, that they contain hidden sugar?
Yeah.
Okay.
For example, like Cocoa Pops, it says less than, I think, 25 or 50% sugar. But then actually when you try it, it has a lot of sugar.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So there is this hidden sugar, and sugar's really bad. It's caused Richard to lose a tooth. There's a point over here.
I've got a question because we've got so many like young people around the table. What do you think about adverts that are targeted at you? Do you like? What do you think about it? If you see something that's kind of targeted at you, how do you feel about it?
Cereal advert, for example. I'm going to come over here. Yeah.
I kind of disagree with people because I think sugar can be it can be good for a lot of people who work
What is sugar good for?
like late night jobs and stuff like that because they need the energy to like stay up like at night and like for football as well and like sports many types.
So sugar's good for football, it's good for energy. I wish okay, so there's a bit of controversy here.
I'll say something. You know when you say about what the adverts, it really works because my son, he's 4 years old. Every time he asks you for what was it, cornflakes, the cornflakes, he will not tell you that he want cornflakes. He will say, I want the tiger one. Okay. So meaning the picture outside is attracting Frosties. That's it. Frosties is very, very sweet, and he will tell you I want the tiger one, meaning the tiger is the target. Okay, so it's not what is taken in.
It's not the actual Frosties. It's the tiger that's the advertising.
Yeah, and it's really not good.
I'm going to say, Richard, I'm just going to come to over here because you said you were going to say something.
I disagree with my friend over here about his point about how you need sugar for, like, for example, sports, because you wouldn't really need sugar for sports because you can use things like water for energy as well.
Water to get energy.
And fruits as well. You don't really need sugar because it can also be bad for you when you're doing sports as well because it can kind of like slow you down as well.
Sugar can actually slow you down in sport. There's a lot of controversy. Is sugar good for sports? What do we think about the Frosties Tiger? Is Frosty's Tiger a good guy or a bad guy? I don't know where to go here. I'm going to come over here.
I kind of disagree with the boy over there because it's actually kind of good. Sugar gives you quite a lot of energy, and I don't really believe that water gives you energy. It just keeps you hydrated.
Okay, so water doesn't give you energy like sugar does. There's nothing like a bit of sugar to get to run around the fields. Richard, you had a point, didn't you?
All I wanted to say was all the supermarkets around here, nothing against supermarkets, what's the first thing you see when you walk into any supermarket around here?
An item that contains sugar.
What?
An item that contains sugar.
What do you mean by that?
Like,
you think of a shop, a supermarket near here, right? You walk in with your mum or your guardian or your what's the first thing you see?
Drugs.
Drugs. What do you mean by that?
Elaborate. Sit down. Come and sit down. What are the drugs that you see?
Paracetamol.
Paracetamol is the first thing you see. Okay.
So I want to add on to what my friend said. So Selu, I mean, as the girl said right here, she said that sometimes sugar can be good for you because.
I mean, the thing is, I mean, a lot of people are just going to recap. I'm just going to recap about I'm just going to recap about the argument. Really, is sugar sometimes a good thing because it gives you energy for sports?
Okay, I'm going to say both things.
Some people say no, some people are saying yes. Go on.
Sometimes it could be good, sometimes it can be bad. So the first thing I'm going to start with is sugar can be bad because let's say, for example, you were to go to a football match every Friday, Saturday and Sunday and you were to have sugar for the whole week basically. There would be a chance for you to get diabetes. You could get diabetes.
You can get diabetes from taking all that sugar. Okay, that's a really good point. Let's just get a final thought from these two.
I believe that yes, you can get diabetes from having too much sugar, but when you do it for sports, you don't have too much. For example, you have every once in a while you can have an energy drink, but if you have them too much, for example, you could get diabetes.
Okay, so how much is enough for a game of sports?
Maybe a bottle of energy drink probably, or less.
Okay, so just a little sip of energy drink,
building on what Liana said, she said that you need sugar for energy, but when you're playing football and other types of sports, they don't advertise sports drinks and sugar stuff. if you look at behind the scenes, you can see that in the changing rooms they give out orange juice because like fruit has longer lasting energy, but sugar has a shorter lasting
so the real footballers actually are drinking fruit drinks. Okay, I'm going to come to you. Are you off? Let me get final thought from these guys first. And we'll come back. What's your name again?
Javen.
Yeah. We'll come back to Javen in a second. Let's just get a final thought from over here.
My thought is that we need to encourage ourselves to eat less sugar, to look after what we're eating and what we're buying on the street, because I think it's not healthy. They're trying just to make money, but not to look after your health.
And how can we, what kind of things should we be promoting instead?
We can promote how to blend your own fruits at home, your own bread, for example, to make your own stuff. Because I make my own coleslaw at home. I can make my own waffles. I can make a lot of things in my own house to just prevent anything.
So actually it's about encouraging people to make their own stuff a bit more. Yeah. Okay, have you got a final thought?
Back to when people are saying sugar is good for sports. It's not good for sports because if you have sugar and then you're running trying to get the ball, for example, you have stomach ache. But
so it can actually affect your stomach.
Yeah. Also, the only time it's good to have sugar is when you have a late night shift.
Okay, so the late night shifting you do agree with, but is that healthy to actually be running your late night shift on sugar? Maybe not. Okay, yep.
Everybody's saying stuff about sugar when it's really caffeine that actually keeps you up.
The caffeine.
Yeah, and also in a lot of energy drinks like Lucozade and stuff, they don't really promote the sugar, they promote the electrolytes that keep you going.
Okay, what is electrolytes?
Electrolytes is like, you can get them in tablets and stuff, and they're kind of stuff that kind of boost you up.
Right. Okay. Are they any good? Come and join in this sugar. It's the sugar debate. Is sugar good because you can run around and play football for hours, or is it bad for you because it gives you diabetes? So that's what we're talking about right now.
Yeah, building on to Kelsey's mom's answer, I want to say that, like, for example, we should be advertising different things. Like, for example, like over here, there's been an activity where we did cooking. So, like, we cooked our own jerk chicken and we also cooked pancakes. So now I just do that at home. And
okay, so you actually are learning. And is that somehow healthier to cook for yourself?
It's healthier to cook for yourself because you know what you're actually putting in it and you know how you can control.
Okay, so it's also about knowing what's in there and knowing what's in the food.
Didn't you? Was it? You like chicken nuggets?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me. Do you know how to make chicken nuggets? Not that you can fry them, but how would you make chicken nuggets?
Okay. Let's ask this man. How do you make chicken nuggets? Do you know?
You blend up the chicken and then you put that together, like make it into little nuggets, and then you put them in bread. You bread them by putting it in like maybe like an egg or milk wash, and then covering in like breadcrumb, and then there you go. Good.
Okay, there we go. There we found out how to make chicken nuggets. Fantastic. Okay,
The recipe would be. It doesn't have to be blended chicken. You can take a normal piece of chicken. Try this at home with your parents there because it requires using hot fat, and I don't think you should do that on your own, obviously. Take a piece of chicken, cut it up into smaller pieces, put it in flour, just plain flour with some salt and pepper. And what the flour does, it dries the chicken. So put it in flour, then dip it in an egg, a beaten egg. That's all. So you're making it dry. Then you're making it wet, and with the wetness, then you roll it in breadcrumbs or very small. Then you deep fry it. But obviously, if you're making it at home, you can do the mixing. So you literally take a piece of chicken, dip it in flour, dip it in an egg, and roll it in breadcrumbs, and then put it on a separate plate. Then let your parent or guardian or whatever take that and then deep fry it just for 2 or 3 minutes, 4 minutes, and when you take it off, put it on grease-proof paper, homemade chicken nuggets.
Okay. I mean, we can't thank you, Richard, for the recipe. I never expected this today.
The recipe, we make our own burger at home. Kelsey, sit down. We make our own burger at home. They said I don't go to McDonald's so often because my own is just perfect, and I teach him how to make it. He's a great chef to make a burger.
Can I ask you what is better? Is McDonald's better or is homemade burger better?
Homemade burger is better.
All right. Come and join in on this one too. Is it better to know what's in your food, to actually make it yourself? Or, I mean, what do you think about McDonald's chicken nuggets or Nando's chickens? Give us a final thought, Richard.
I've got to go, but great. Look, if you can work with your parent or guardian and you can find very, very simple ideas like the burger idea, then you know what's going in it. And most food you buy from McDonald's or whatever is just filling. It's just
got toilet paper in it.
It may not. It won't have toilet paper, but it will be filling. And if you make a meatball, for example, you can roll it in rice. You can cook the rice first, put rice in with it, and then put it in the oven or something, and you have a fillet of easy food.
Yeah.
Well, but listen, genuinely, this is, if you want to know about Spanish food, at the end of July, when I reopen my shop, you're welcome to come in, and I'll talk you through it. You don't have to buy anything. It's not about buying. It's about learning about Spanish food.
Okay, so come and learn, and it's not about the money. It's about the education. Thank you, Richard, for your insights into food.
You need to make sure to add seasoning as well.
The seasoning is all important, otherwise it's going to taste medieval. We heard about that. Come and join in on this. Where are we going to go with this conversation? We're talking about, do we need to know what's in our food? And go on.
We also need to know what's in our food, because sometimes you might go to like some popular restaurants. They might have like stuff you're allergic to, or they might have like maybe like a rat came in and poisoned the food or something.
Okay, so do we trust it? Are we allergic to it?
I've got a side comment. I'm really interested in what is it that you did. Like, was it like a cookery? Like, do you go into the community centre to do like workshops and stuff? So I just want to ask you, or anyone who's doing stuff at a community centre, what actually goes on there, because I don't know. And my second question is like, no, that's it.
Get some chips. That's my second question.
Yes, so what we do, every holiday we do different activities, like, or we can go on trips. Like, for example, we do like sports, we do football, we also do cooking. We usually do cooking. We also have like community parties, and we also do like, we go on trips. Like, for example, yesterday we went to trampolining. So and we had a lot of fun.
It sounds like a lot of fun. Okay, we've got a new face at the table. Tell us your name.
Oh, hello, I'm a counsellor. I'm Caroline Woodley, and I do lots of work with this amazing centre, and it's so brilliant to hear you talk about all the things you've been up to, so thank you very much for that.
Well, Caroline, let me fill you in. So we've got Margot, we've got Ellen, what's your name again?
Selu.
Selu.
Yes.
And we've got Timna, and we've got Kelsey, and what was that again? Fatuma, that's right, and
Kobe.
And
Killian.
And
Mike.
And I'm Mikey as well.
And Daniel.
And when we're talking about food, we've been round the block already with food. It all started with the fruit sculptures down in Narrowway, and we went through this whole thing, firstly about the history of food, and then about the food of history, and then we talked more about, do we know what's in our food, what's healthy food, is sugar good or bad? We talked about that a little bit, because sugar is really great for running around the sports field, for giving you energy, for working nights as well. So sugar's got a lot of positive things, but it gives you diabetes and it's generally bad for you. So there's some of the other things. You lose your teeth. And then we moved on to, do we know what's in our food? Is a homemade burger better than a McDonald's burger? That's where we kind of are now. We've got another new face over here. Tell us your name.
Scholar.
Yes.
What's the time?
So that's where we are right now. Did you have a point?
Before I leave, like, for example, this may ruin macaroni and cheese for some people, but like, related to the thing that's inside your food, like in macaroni, there's been cases of like about 8 insect parts inside macaroni. So
is that is
yeah.
it bad to eat insects?
Yes. Some insects it's bad, but some insects you actually can eat.
Okay, so what insects can you eat?
Things like, for example, I mean, it's not really an insect, but like snails. You can eat snails.
It's not quite an insect, but you can eat it. So that's where we are right now. Yep.
People also eat things like crickets and like you can eat crickets. So I saw a man eat a caterpillar once that was live, but like yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So would you eat a cricket or a caterpillar?
If you pay me money, yeah.
How much would I have to pay you?
Oh, well, we're talking about 100 maybe.
100 what? 100 pence or 100 pounds?
£100 or I'll do it for a deal, half price, £50.
£50. What? Okay, £50 special offer. Short-term offer. Okay. Would you eat Caroline? Would you eat a cricket?
I would much rather see them all out in their natural habitat, adding to our biodiversity, because I'm a very, very nature-focused counsellor.
Right. Okay. So you'd rather have the crickets out and about, just cricketing,
or being eaten by the birds.
Being eaten by the birds. Is it bird food? A cricket? Yep.
You can also eat a cow.
A cow?
A cow. No, we're talking about insects.
Oh, ant.
Ant. Would you eat an ant? Or would you
No,
prefer a cow?
I wouldn't eat it, but
you tried the caterpillar. You know the African caterpillar.
Okay, so
you tried it.
In Africa, they eat caterpillars.
Yeah.
Okay, and a particular kind of caterpillar?
No, it's kind of. It looks, as a caterpillar, but it's different. It's small ones.
What does it taste like?
Nice. Sweet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so who here would eat a caterpillar? You would eat a caterpillar? You would eat a caterpillar? No? Okay.
So can I tell a story?
Yep.
I have a friend called Michael, yeah? And at my school, there was some boy that offered him £5 to eat a snail. And then he actually ate the snail, and apparently it's a good source of protein.
Right, so he made £5 and he got protein?
Yes,
okay.
So a banging deal.
Would you eat a snail?
A snail?
A snail, I meant.
£5.
£5, okay.
It has to be 10.
So snails, it's cheaper in a way than a cricket, which is £50, only today. Okay, so we're talking about, would you eat an insect?
I already have. I think I may have eaten a cockroach in the past.
You've eaten it deliberately?
Accidentally.
Okay.
But I mean, I think cockroaches are probably full of protein and a lot of good stuff,
Would you eat a cricket or a snail?
I would. I've had a cricket flour before. You know that restaurant chain Oaxaca? They have like a brownie made out of cricket flour, and it was so moist. So I'd absolutely eat crickets again.
Okay. Do you know? You could have potentially made 50 quid.
Oh, really?
But anyway, where are we going with this? I don't know. We're talking about eating insects. Yep.
I wonder if there's like a Hackney speciality insect that could be, we can kind of, open a chain around Hackney. I don't know, is it crickets? Is it, I mean, you probably know more about wildlife than me in Hackney.
What would be the food stuff of Hackney?
Yeah, like a food chain.
What would be the food stuff of Hackney?
I'd like to see more plant-based food, so I'm not sure I'm going to encourage a new sort of trend in eating crickets.
Any particular plant that's a Hackney-based plant?
Oh no, I'm just thinking veggie burgers. I'm thinking of your man over here who wants to have his burger.
So you're saying that the typical Hackney food is the veggie burger. You might have some supporters there, yep.
You see how people can eat blowfish, like in some restaurants?
What is that?
You know that it's like, do you know what a blowfish is?
No, tell me.
It's like this poisonous insect. You know those fishes that puff up?
The puffer one, yeah.
Puffer fish, yeah, that's what they're called, yeah.
Yeah.
And you know how some restaurants can eat them, but you have to have like a license to cut it, because if you cut it wrong, then...
Yeah.
What would happen if some UK restaurants actually did that?
Hang on, Scholar, let me get a final thought from you. I'm going to leave that question hanging. What about puffer fishes? Could that be the Hackney food stuff? Let me get a final thought, and if you're going, Mike, I want a final thought from you. So, final thought, Scholar, what do you think about all these exotic foods we've been talking about eating? And are we eating the right stuff? Is it healthy? These are some of the questions on the table.
I think food is as healthy as you make it.
Yeah.
As long as you don't eat too much of anything, you'll be fine.
Okay, so not too much of anything. Fatuma, give me a final thought before you go.
Make your own food. Cook. Do not buy junk foods.
Okay, all right. So Mike, final thought?
Everybody have a good day and enjoy the rest of your day and have a nice half term.
Okay, it's at half term right now, is it?
Yes.
And what are you planning to do for your half term?
Play football every single day.
Play football every single day?
Yeah.
I mean, earlier on we were talking about, can you have too much of things, or a balance, I think somebody mentioned. Is that a good balance to be playing football every day?
Yeah, seems reasonable. If I have enough rest, if I sleep for like 8 to 10 hours, then yeah.
Okay, so the sleep balances the football?
Yeah.
Okay, makes sense. Ellen?
God, I really forgot what I was going to say now. I know these guys have a final thought.
Yeah.
These young children have a final thought.
No,
You have the final thought. He's like, no, I don't.
Yeah.
He does.
Have you got a final thought?
Yeah. About what exactly?
Well, I mean, we're hoping to keep this conversation going. We've got Caroline here, who's a counsellor. I'm not sure exactly what a counsellor does. Maybe we'll find out. But yeah, I don't know.
I like to do relay a lot. Like I like running almost every day. Yeah.
And do you feel that sugar helps you? Do you consume a lot of sugar? No.
I mean, it depends, because like if you want to run a long distance, like obviously you need energy.
Yeah.
So sometimes maybe sugar could help, but most of the time no, sugar won't help.
Why would it not help?
Because there's this thing with sugar where at first it'll keep you hyper, but then after a while it like drains all of your energy.
Okay, so it's like a big bang, big hit, and then you're like, okay, good, fine. Good. Okay, so let's maybe go over to. Thank you. Yep.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say you can eat a lot of flowers, so maybe we could have like a edible flower of Hackney, you know? Yeah.
Okay, so could it be an edible flower? Would that be the food of Hackney? Where do we go with this conversation? Does Hackney need its own food? Is it a veggie burger? Is it a flower? Is it a snail? Come and join in. We've got Caroline, we've got Margot, we've got Mike, we've got Ellen, we've got Timna. I'm Mikey. We're talking about, does Hackney need its own food stuff? And what should it be? Should it be we talked about some of the fruits down there, the jackfruit. Should it be a veggie burger? Should it be a flower? Should it be an Austrian wafer? Maybe, yeah.
I do wonder. I mean, like, what is kind of legislation doing in terms of like what kinds of food you can purchase? Because I'd be interested in, like, you know, if we're serious about the planet, if we're serious about, you know, the world that we live in, then surely we should just like switch to being vegetarian/vegan. And I wonder whether on the local level it's possible to make decisions about that. Just say like, okay, this is manageable.
Vegetarian food.
Yes, like, okay, I'm sorry everyone, but it's going to be veggie burgers only in Hackney, for instance. Like, would that even work? I mean, are people like bothered about that as a good life choice?
I mean, could it work today? Today we've got the food store here. Could that just be selling vegetarian foods? Would that work? Tell us your name. Welcome.
Joelle.
Joelle, what do you think about that?
I think that we should maybe do non-vegetarian and vegetarian one burger, because like maybe people enjoy being vegetarian and non-vegetarian.
Okay, so people might enjoy both, so you need to give both options. Come and have a seat on the table of chat. At the moment we're talking about what food would be representative of Hackney. Would it be a veggie burger? Would it be a flower? Would it be a jackfruit? You're looking at me quizzically.
I've never heard of that.
Are you not heard of a jackfruit? Okay, come and join in. Yes, that's you. Yes, come in. Okay, so we've got some. I think the veggie burger's gaining ground in certain circles, but not in others. Ellen.
I know. Talking about snails, I know a couple of years ago there was a trend of using snail slime for skincare.
Right.
I know it originated in like South Korea.
Yeah.
So I did think about purchasing a snail mask myself, but I never got around to it. So I don't know if anyone tried like.
Could a snail be the food of?
Yeah, maybe. It could be quite nice in a smoothie, you know.
I've got a lot of snails in my garden, and I'm really desperate for something to do with all those snails because they're just everywhere.
Put the blue pellets down.
Yes.
Anyway.
Okay, so could it be a snail? Caroline?
Margot asked about legislation, so I think nationally the government's looking at things like publishing calorie intake, and there's quite a problem for restaurants if they want to be experimental and to try different things to calorie count everything, and you kind of want people to be relaxed and to enjoy their food. But I do like the idea of everything in moderation, and on a local level we do look at being a child-friendly borough, so that doesn't just mean sort of being able to go out and about and be safe and to get from your home to your school to your park sort of safely with connection with nature along the way. It's also looking at the kind of shops that kind of exist around your school and around your park and what kind of food they sell. So if it's got a combination of the thing you like to be treated to, you know, your favourite ice cream shop or your favourite chicken shop or your favourite burger, but also really healthy food, then everyone has more choice, and I think that's a really important thing to promote.
Okay, so it's about choice as well. Come and join in. At the moment we're still on the food thing, we're just stuck on it. What would be the food that...
I mean, I used to be a drama teacher, you see, so this fascinates me.
Yeah,
this gives me a real passion, hearing people talking about stuff. So carry on.
No, at the moment we're talking about what would be there's a couple of things. There's like, can Hackney as a borough do things to promote things like the veggie burger or sustainable foods? Can they do things like that? Is it more about choice? And also, what would be the representative food of Hackney? Would it be a snail? Because there's a lot of snails in my garden. Would it be, which is in Hackney, by the way, would it be a flower? Because there's a lot of flowers in Hackney. Would it be, what else do people suggest? I can't remember now. Crickets, yes. Come and join, yes, that's you, come and join in. Yes, 2 minutes, come and join in. We've got Caroline, we've got Joelle, we've got Ellen, we've got Richard, we've got Timna, we have got Margot, what's her name?
Toby.
What was it?
Toby.
What did you say?
Two.
Okay. Have you got any views on this? Any thoughts on this? What's your favourite food?
KFC.
KFC. Could KFC be the representative? Come and sit down. Come and join in this thing.
I'll come back.
Final thought, Caroline, before you go.
Eat healthy and have fun with it.
Okay, having fun.
One thing I really love about Hackney is Ridley Road Market, because it really keeps me in touch with. Welcome.
Yeah.
It really puts me in touch with what fruits and veg are in season.
Right. Okay.
So, and I think it's just such a great insight to see. You know, it's a reflection of the different people in the area, the fruits that are on sale.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so Ridley Road for you is representative of all the different cultures, and also what's
you can see what's in season as well. So, and it's the best kind of food to eat. It's food that's in season. So,
okay, why is it better to eat food?
Because it's more tasty and nutritious. You know, when strawberries are in season, they taste a lot better than when they're not, and it's actually better for the environment eating food that's in season. So,
okay, we've got a new face to the table. We have got Margot, we have got Tu, we have got Joelle, we have got Ellen and Richard and Timna and Mikey. What's your name?
My name is Sheila and I'm your Hackney Central Councillor for Pembury.
I've lost my sound effects pad, but that would be an air horn.
That would be an air horn, right? Yeah. That's good, I like an air horn.
I mean, I don't know if you've been listening, but there's been a few subjects on the table. One has been about what's the representative food of Hackney, and Ellen's mentioned Ridley Road with the panoply of different fruits and veg in season. There's also the question about, and this might be one for you, can Hackney put veggie burger positive legislation in place to actually get more veggie burgers out there and more vegetarian food?
Hackney is, with the projects they've got going on at the moment, they're supporting me in some way with a small grant to sell paella. We would know it as paella.
Right.
But actually in Spanish it will be pronounced paella, and that will be through the summer when the weather gets a bit better, and it's introducing things like fish. There'll be a vegetarian. This is not me promoting it, it's saying Hackney are doing things to encourage
to rise to the occasion.
To rise to the occasion, but it's basically trying to move away from people's understanding of what's on local offer.
Okay, so is paella the Hackney food of choice? Joelle, you had a point?
Pardon?
What were you going to say? You had your hand up.
Maybe we can have popcorn chicken as our main food.
Why chicken? Why chicken?
Popcorn chicken.
What is popcorn chicken?
It's basically a meal from KFC.
Yeah.
And maybe because It's basically chicken in a popcorn box.
Right. Okay. A popcorn box full of chicken. Could that represent Hackney?
No, I think, well, I've been a vegetarian for 40 years.
Yeah.
So I think what this young lady was saying here about Ridley Market and all the fruits that are, and vegetables that are there really represents Hackney.
Yeah.
Because you couldn't be more representative and you couldn't have more choice. So Ridley Market, absolutely.
So Ridley, you
Hackney.
support that point about Ridley Road Market?
Yep, absolutely. Is definitely represents Hackney because you've got fish there as well. You have meat, but obviously I'm into the vegetables. So the thing about the vegetables is when they're fresh, they're more nutritious. So this young lady was spot on.
Yeah,
absolutely. And I've been a veggie for 40 years, and I don't think it's done me any harm.
Okay,
So,
it hasn't done you any harm. Has it done you good?
It's done me good, yeah, because I'm actually very physically fit for my age.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're talking about vegetarianism. Is Hackney almost the heart of UK vegetarianism because it seems like all the councillors are vegetarian. Was there a point? I noticed there was a point somewhere over here. Yeah.
I want to go back to what Elam said some time ago about the snails. It just made me think because you said you once they started talking about it, like making the snail masks for better skin, only then you thought, oh, maybe I can have a can have a go. And they wonder like. I'm just interested. Like, do we need to does something have to become like really trendy before people take it up? If it's like too niche and too ordinary, like cooking at home, oh yeah, we have to get like Jamie Oliver and Instagram influencers to promote it. Like, are we so influenced? Like, what does that say about us?
Come in. Hang on a sec, because we've got some new faces. Okay, but let me get the new faces in. And final thought from two as well before you go. I've got a lot in my inbox, so give me a second. Yeah, give us a final thought too.
I think it should be like veggies because it's healthy and you should have it as a part of your everyday meal.
Okay, I mean, could Hackney be the first vegetarian borough? It seems like it could be. Come and join in. This is Talkaoke's freeform talk show. Richard's busting to say something, but I need to introduce everyone first, and then we've got an audience for you, Richard. So let's just get some names. What's your name?
My name is Talila.
Talila.
My name is Lilia.
Lilia.
Khadija.
Khadija. Yep.
Hamza.
And. You're not involved in this, okay? And what's your name over here? Samira, come and sit down, Samira. And we've got over here a couple of names.
Omar.
And
Medi.
Betty.
No, Medi.
Betty. Medi. Sorry, Medi. Okay, so at the moment we're talking about come and sit down, come and get involved and tell us your name.
Oh, it's Lorna.
Lorna, welcome. And who have we got over here?
Rose.
So there's been a lot of chat about food. Richard's going to give a final thought before he goes. A lot has been about, what is actually Hackney food? And the whole thing has just gone on and on and on from the sculpture that's in the narrow way about the fruit, and we just can't get off this subject for some reason. But Richard, give us a final.
As the thing about Hackney people is they're very creative.
Yeah.
And so if you put that into the fabric of what food's about, we've got to learn to be creative. And I'll give you an example. And you must see, this is a joke, basically.
Yeah.
When my wife and I used to cook porridge in the morning, we would have porridge. And everyone knows if they cook any porridge or any kind of heavy, thick thing, the saucepan is full of porridge at the end. And then when we ate it, you're going to laugh at this, I used to suggest that we both sat there, took the porridge from the pan and put it on as a face mask.
Right.
And it did our skin an incredible... So it's amusing as well. It's not meant to be serious. But if you sit there, it does. It's basically, it's a face mask which is left over from the porridge pan.
I'd rather put that on my face than snail slime.
Well, no, but kids will love it because they go there and they're eating their porridge from and they've got all this drying off face mask. They can easily wash it later, but it softens the skin. It's just being creative.
Okay, so it's the creative element of Hackney, and I don't think anyone can argue. Ellen, and let me just come over here to Leela.
So one of my friends
according to him, one of my friends put guacamole all around their face.
Guacamole on your face?
Yeah, and then they waited for about 1 hour, and then the next minute their face was so smooth and clean. Yeah.
So what we're learning here is that food is not just for eating. You can put it on your face, whether it's porridge, guacamole, snail. Is there anything else you can put on your any other foods you can put on your face? Ellen, you had a point over here.
You can pretty much put most foods on your face. I mean, I know oats is really good for like moisturizing the skin. So he's right. Using it as a face mask is good.
And it's oats so simple.
It's oats so simple, and also avocado as well. It's full of omega-3 fatty acids. So not only is it good for taking it internally, but it's good for hair. Coconut oil is the only oil that penetrates the hair shaft, so you can great for moisturizing hair. Good on the skin. Good to take internally. So there's so many foods, even rice water, you can use it on you. There's so many foods. So
so there's a lot going on. Hopefully that ambulance.
I mean, could we have a big like food fight in Hackney, or is that like wasteful?
What have you got? What have you got in mind?
Like, I don't know, I just like porridge because it's like a bit gross, and I just like a massive like porridge fight.
Would it send the right
because
message?
it's good, but it's good for your skin, so and it's quite cheap. So it's
would a porridge food fight send the right message about Hackney?
Porridge is also good, but it's kind of bad with sugar.
Okay, so you would have the food fight with sugar, Lorna?
Well, I guess in this time of austerity, you might be condemned for having a porridge fight.
Okay, would it be considered wasting food if you have a porridge food fight? Would it be encouraging people to... Yep.
Maybe if we eat it after the fight.
Okay, you can eat it afterwards. Would you eat porridge after having a food fight with it?
No.
No? Have you got any thoughts on this? Is there any food you would put on your face?
I'd put like oats.
Oats, so you're going with the oats thing, okay. Where do we go with this conversation? Do we want to talk about healthy eating? Do we want to talk about the history of food, the food of history? We've talked about all these things so far. What do we want to talk about? Where do we want to go? There's a couple of new faces. Tell us your name.
Eunice.
And?
Timmy.
Eunice and Timmy. We've got Lorna, sorry, what's your name again?
Rose.
Rose, and we've got Margot and Hamza and Khadija, and we've got Talila and Lilia and Talila and Sheila and Joelle, and what are your two again?
Omar.
And?
Mehdi.
Mehdi, of course, yes. Okay, so we're talking about food. Where do you want to go with this? We've got quite a young audience. I know that,
Maybe electronics.
What do you want to say about electronics?
Well, they're good to play on, but it spends a lot of bills.
Okay, so electronics, is it... Are we playing on electronics too much, do you think? Is it like the sugar, where...
Maybe the future of food is in electronics, because you can maybe you might have to create electronics that 3D print food, you know, for the future.
Will our food be electronically made in the future? What do you think about that? Would you eat?
I feel that natural food coming from the ground, that's what we need to be eating, not electrified electronic food. Because what nutrients will it have? I don't think it will have any nutrients at all.
Okay, so you're not so keen on electronic food?
No.
Electronic foods?
If you come off of electronics for a week, you can actually feel more better.
Have you tried that?
Yeah, and I feel really more relaxed.
So you're going to just give up electronics now?
Not really, because I'm like a little bit of a gamer, so...
Okay, so it's just a brief pause. What do you think about if you actually got food, if you were playing a computer game that actually printed foods for you?
That would be really good.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't have to spend money for
Okay, so you can
food.
potentially like win a 3D printed strawberry, for example, on your computer game. Is that the future that we're talking about? Well, I really wish my sound effects pad was working now, but it's not, and I'm really disappointed about that. I don't know why, technical problems, Timna?
I think that you can feel the love which you put into food, even if you like see the plant or like cook the food. So, and I think with like 3D printed food, we wouldn't feel the love. Maybe.
Yeah, there would be no love involved.
I think so.
I mean, tell us about this love and food. How does that work?
I have the impression that when for example, I just had a meal yesterday from my mom, and I know that she didn't want to cook, so I felt actually in the food that it was not that tasty, and in the end I thought like, why did you cook if you were not in the mood of cooking?
Okay, so actually food needs to be cooked with love, and what about if it's made by a computer? Where is the love? Can computers express love? No.
It's a machine. It can't.
Yeah.
There is more than just. I think it's more than just cooking the food. There's lots of things. I think elements that goes into the food. You know, it's from the heart. It's how you mix the food, how you blend the food, how you. It's just more than just. You know, like that. Really tapping in. It's much more than that.
What do you think about mothers cooking food? Do they have a special amount of love when they?
I mean, I cook and I have a special love for, and my children enjoy my food.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. So it's all working out. So we're talking about love and food and cooking. Yep.
You would need electronics to order food online.
Okay. So hang on a sec. What about ordering food online? But where's the love in that? Is there any love in that?
There's no love in that.
Okay, does this mean that we're going for a future with no love? I'm going to come to you in a second, because it's all going to be electronic and printed and delivered food. Where is the love coming from? I think that's what some of the people are concerned about our future.
No, I think we have to grow food. We need more growing spaces in Hackney.
Yeah.
Because when food is grown and then cooked and shared, that's where the love is.
Okay, so growing food and sharing food, not the electronic. I mean, what do people think? Are we gonna get?
I think it's easier for to order from online. So, like, what if you're what if you're feeling lazy and you just don't want to go out or just stay in bed?
So hang on a sec. There might be effort going into this food and love, but what about if you're feeling lazy? Like Timna's mum was feeling lazy, and then the food didn't come out that well. So why not just order it online? And what about those tasty deliveries? Are they actually putting some love into that delivery?
I think so.
You think so?
I think it is important.
Yeah.
I know it's good to cook at home, but if you're ordering food online, then it gives you that opportunity to buy or probably order a healthier meal, that is part of love, being able to eat something that is good for your body, rather than if you're feeling lazy, you don't want a quick meal, but you can order a very good meal online.
So what I'm getting from you is that the love is not necessarily in the cooking, it might be in the sharing, in the sharing
and that food.
Okay.
So, me and my sister, we normally cook for our parents because we just want to give them a little surprise. And then, as I said, all the time, it's nice to put all your love into the food because your parents understand and stuff like that.
What does it mean though to put all your love into it?
Like you worked really hard, and you really want them to enjoy the food and have happiness and everything.
Okay, so whoa, there goes the balloon. I knew it was going to happen. Anyway, we're talking about.
I wonder what this time to.
You're trying to get rid of me.
No, there's something.
Okay, all right. I've got food here, so I'm gonna. I just want to sort of come to a natural moment. Give me a couple of minutes. Oh no, we'll use this one because it's got the windshield on. We've got new faces. There's a lot going on here, but we're talking about the future of food. And is there love in the future of food? How do you actually express love? What's your name again?
Lilia.
Lilia spent time and effort making food for her parents, and that's love. And Lorna makes food for her children, and that's love. How are we going to do that if it's all done on Deliveroo? Is it going to be about growing food and making ourselves? This is where we are right now. So let me come to Lorna and then...
I mean, I feel that there can be no better love, right, in food than... Okay, even if you might grow some tomato, just squeeze some tomato in a pot and let it grow. And when you taste that tomato, because there's also the element of you actually grew that. That's your hands that grew that.
So
you know what I mean?
growing the food.
That's growing the food.
Is more love.
I tell you, right? I was working at this school, and they have a big field, and they planted like potatoes, right? And then the teacher, he took his little camp stove and his little pot, and the children went out and they dig the potatoes, and he cooked the potatoes, washed them, cooked the potatoes, and then he did it in mint butter. And I tell you, that was the most delicious potato I have ever eaten.
Okay.
Seriously.
Well, there you go. That's proof.
About it.
Never forget about it. Okay, let's get final thought from Lilia.
I was just going to say I need to go to my mum. That's all I was going to say.
Okay, but what do you think of what's the most important thing that's been said in this conversation?
Well, the important thing to me, what's been said to the conversation, is that it's nice to put all your love into anything you give to anyone that you love.
Okay, so thank you, Lilia. That's a great final comment. Put your love into. It's going to be my final comment as well. We're going to introduce a new host. Are you ready? Just sit on this crack here, spin around like this. I've been doing it for 25 years. We're going to keep this conversation live. I'm just going to do you this one for now, and then maybe we'll... so let's welcome, we've got a new host, Timna. Maybe you want to just get the round of names to begin with. No, that's the spare microphone. Don't worry about that.
So, hi guys. So, nice to see you from the other side, from the inside. So, let's start with a round of names. What's your name?
Eunice.
Tommy.
Lorna.
Rose.
Rose. Hi, hello. What's your name? Hello. What's your name?
My name's Sarah.
Sarah.
Khadija.
Margot.
Mikey, can I just get that on? Sorry, it's going to mess your hair. That's my only worry.
No worries. I'll take care of it. And we have
Gonzo.
Hey, and I forgot you.
Joel.
And Joel. So, give me 1 second.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, Tim. No. I just wanted to say, just while I'm, because I can't really say anything on the inside of the table, but what about electronic love? Is there not such a thing as electronic love? We've got like Tinder and we've got all these electronic dating sites. Why can't you have electronically, why can't you add the love electronically in foods? That's my question.
So, let's go to you.
Well, I'm not sure.
Okay, so what do you think about love in food?
Well, maybe if it's made by a robot, or it was made by fast food, and if they say how long it takes to be cooked, then maybe that's love.
Okay, so the time it takes to cook a food is for you the love they put in. What do you think, Margot?
It's interesting linking love and food, because I happen to know that Tinder has introduced these new adverts. So you scroll through people, and for those who don't know, Tinder is a dating app. You scroll through people that you like, and now and then there's an advert. And what is really disturbing, then now and then there's an advert for food, like delivery or something. And I'm just imagining like myself in a few years' time in my bedroom, scrolling through people electronically, ordering food, having everything at the tip of my finger. It's just like horrible.
Okay, so Margaret says she might get triggered by a dating app to order food. Gonzo, what do you think about that?
I think there was this discussion the other day about kind of happiness and how do you measure it, and then I was thinking about it and came to the conclusion that in a lot of discussions, actually the happiness is meant something like a Tamagotchi. When you have this kind of electronic game, and if this little animal that you kind of look after is happy, it's fed, and has received love, then that's the happiness. So it's like a contentment and how much love you've received. So I think love, food, and electronics can be sort of as a measuring tool, but I'm not sure if it's going to happen soon.
Okay, so Gonza, speaking about maybe the care of taking care of something, so putting love inside. So girls, give us your final thoughts. What do you think about the discussions? What do you like? Do you have a final thought?
Wait, about electronics?
Yeah, tell us something about electronics. Your final thought. How can we keep this conversation flowing after you have left?
Electronics, you can you can show love in online.
Okay, so you think you can show your love online?
Because if you don't show love in your packaging from online stores, you might get fired.
Okay, so thank you for that final thought. And what about you? What's your final thought?
Okay. Okay. I think that maybe it's better to like show your love as like building your own food, like with your love, and not with like just fast food and deliveries.
Okay. So you mean like cooking at home is you can show your love?
Yeah, and sometimes like maybe you don't know what could be in like the fast food. It's like something bad could happen in the fast food. Yeah.
So you don't know all of the ingredients.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So to show your love. Thank you for that final thought. Okay, so we spoke about love, the connection of food and love. Are you going to leave? Give us your final thought.
Well, when we get into the future, when that happens, where maybe the technology is going to be giving us the ingredients to cook things.
Okay, that's interesting. Thank you for that final thought. Margot.
I mean, if I could, I would really just download the food or all the nutrients I want, because I find cooking so tedious. It just bores me to tears. Now and then I like cooking a soup, it's quite therapeutic, whatever. But literally, considering all the things that have to happen in a day, in a week, in life, it seems to me like, why all this time? That's why I want to marry somebody who will be cooking for me and they'll enjoy that. That is my plan for a healthy life.
Okay.
And maybe Tinder will help, I don't know.
Okay, a round of applause for that honesty. So Gonzo, you had your hand up, please.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. Yeah, you would like to have like a device that kind of measures your kind of nutrient, like the vitamin levels and mineral levels and sugar levels at all times, and kind of says, oh, you need a little bit of love right now.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, so Mikey, you also had your hand up. Do you feel the love in your food?
Well, that's what I was going to say, is that I don't think it has to be cooked by somebody that knows you to have love, because I think this was cooked with love. It tastes nice, and I think, you know, it's a bit like, you know, like people don't just work for money, and the cooks, people that make food, are doing it because they've got a love for the people. So there's also love. It doesn't have to be made by, you know, people you know to have the love in it.
Yeah, so Mike says we don't have to know the people who cook. Girls, what are you thinking? Rose, do you have any thoughts?
I mean, I don't think you don't really need to know the people for love, because people, I mean, people don't cook because people cook because they enjoy cooking, and most people cook because they enjoy cooking, and they enjoy what they do, and they like to please people with their food, you know. So you don't have to cook, but for me, I like cooking. I enjoy cooking. Yeah, and when I cook, I like to, it's good to know that people enjoy my food. And sometimes food doesn't have to for nice food to taste good, it doesn't have to spend hours and hours cooking, you know. So yeah, you could just quickly rustle something up and it tastes beautiful.
Okay, so love which transfers, food which transfers love doesn't need that much time. Margot, what's your point on that?
I was just thinking, like what happened? I think the food and cooking can be a controversial subject, particularly within families. Because let's say your mum, because you mentioned about like cooking with love for people and that kind of stuff. And I think like when my mum cooked for me, it's like, oh yeah, you know, she guilt tripped me as a child to like certain foods, and now I can see that her food habits are not that good. So I try to introduce something, saying like, oh hey, how about vegetarian? Oh no, because you're not gonna get. We end up having like massive arguments. So how do you show your love for your parents, in particular parents, but not offend them? Because we've always used to have this meat dish at Christmas, but now meat is not okay to eat. So how do you prevent your family from breaking up over food?
Yeah, please.
So, what do you mean that food like meat isn't okay to eat? I don't understand. What do you mean by that?
What do you mean by that?
I mean that now that we know what we know about the planet and sustainability, and also having like cow or like cattle farms and how much pollution that produces, and also eating meat is murder and that kind of stuff. Like maybe eating meat is just not okay anymore because we've got too much awareness about it. But culturally, I'm Polish, so we've always like everything is meat based. Like literally everything is meat based. So if you reject your mum's food that she cooked from generation to generation, or like in your family, then you're not just expressing your dietary preference, but you just like rejecting the culture. And like how do you mitigate that? Because I think that's in my family was big.
Okay, Gonzo, you have a point on that?
Yeah, I think about the meat industry and its kind of and how meat is consumed in different cultures. Like there's like cultures that are kind of been through a lot. I don't know, like war or something, and then they want a period of kind of consumption, and then when you get to the point where you can kind of think about other things, yes, that's how I see it. Like that, not everyone in the world will be in the same foot with kind of cutting out the same foods or same anything really, because there's different levels of development or different levels of whatever.
I'm more developed than my parents. Sorry, so are you saying that maybe children are more developed than their parents, who are just a bit like, for lack of a better word, like backward because they like don't understand that vegan is the new way forward?
Okay, we're speaking about the...
Sorry, I'm not against veganism, but like I just don't like when people are like pushing it on people. And I also think like at the end of the day, like producing like all these vegan things, they have to go in factories, right? So isn't that not causing pollution? So I don't understand. And you're saying that people that eat meat are backwards. I love meat and I'm young. Are you trying to say I'm backwards? Because I took that kind of offensively, just a little bit. I just feel like people should just eat what they want. At the end of the day, I'm not infringing on your rights, don't infringe on mine. So you want to be a vegan, that's fine, and that's that. That's all I have to say. Okay.
Yeah, what's interesting is beforehand we had a discussion about judging our meat. Should we change how we judge meat, or not meat, our food in general? So you have a thought on that, please.
I think that meat, I think if people want to enjoy meat, they should enjoy meat. They should be left alone to enjoy the meat. I don't eat meat because I choose not to. Growing up, we ate meat twice a week. So I'm from an agricultural background, so we mostly eat vegetables. And I didn't have a problem with eating meat, and I don't have a problem with people eating meat. And I think the meat problem, I think it's a Western problem. I really do, because people in other countries or elsewhere, say for example maybe South America, I know that in Argentina they do eat a lot of beef and stuff like that, but to what extent do they eat beef? Do they eat meat every single day of the week? While we live in England, we could have meat 24 hours, 365 days a year if we want to. And like she said, this veganism, I just want to say that Rastas have been talking about not just it's not vegan, it's ital food for the longest ever since, right? Vegetables. So this veganism is processed food, a lot of it. Why you want to eat processed bacon, cousin, or, you know, it's all processed. And what does it have in it that's going to, later on in 10 years time, we're going to see the impact of it on us, you know?
Okay, so we're speaking about the advantages and disadvantages of processed food. I have two new faces on this table. Hi, Sarah is back. I will come to you and then to you, Mikey. So what's your name? Hi, this is Talkaoke.
Hi, my name is Pauline.
Pauline?
Pauline, yes.
Pauline, and what's your name?
Emmanuel.
Sorry, I didn't hear it.
Emmanuel.
Emmanuel, nice to see you. So, you have a point on that.
Well, I forgot.
Okay, we were speaking about processed food, veganism,
Oh, I
and
know.
meat.
I'm not really sure about veganism because, like, when you eat a plant, it practically makes summer flowers more time to reproduce.
Okay.
You know, vegan food isn't vegetarian, veggie, vegan. So it's taken that vegetarian and the veggie. So why, instead of having fake chicken, just do some vegetables, you know, do some carrots and cabbage and broccoli and, you know, things like that, instead of buying fake bacon slices, you know what I mean? So
Okay, so we have like a pro-vegetarian
just eat
approach
vegetables.
from this side. Eating vegetables. Margot, what do you think?
I also don't like the processed vegan bacon. I'm not actually vegan, but and I eat meat, but I'm striving not to eat meat because what I'm really interested in is it possible in this day and age to cook things which are not substitutes, which are just like using natural ingredients. And because I was brought up in the way that I have, I don't necessarily know how to use like simple recipes what you were talking about to kind of cook something that's like natural and simple. Why do people go, I don't understand this kind of thing of like going to like posh restaurants and like trying all this. It's just not for me. I know it's for other people, but it's not for me. I just want to kind of almost go back to basics. And like what I mean by, for instance, vegan food, I think like ethically it's an interesting concept. I'm very interested in that because of the suffering of animals and that kind of stuff. Can I do it? I probably can, but I'm not there yet. But and what I just wanted to say about the comment about backward, it was kind of provocation, but it was in the context of my parents, because I think the whole point that I brought up about the food is that it can cause disagreements on like fundamental like principles level within families, and I think that's kind of what I was saying, that maybe as a child who's saying actually parents you shouldn't eat this because it's not ethical, maybe that is just kind of and they will appear like really conservative all of a sudden because they want to eat like food they've always ate. So that's kind of what I wanted to say. But yeah, vegan bacon, not sure. I just want to eat like simple chips.
Okay, so Margot is speaking about the
maybe you know, like maybe if your parents, they've always eaten meat all their lives and now they have to change. They feel that they have to change, but they don't have to change everything, you know what I mean, one time. So I mean, I guess you could maybe some of the health benefits of eating less and introducing them to a different meal that is just as delicious, you know what I mean, and then the meat, you know what I mean. So yeah, it's just simple chickpeas and things, lentils and, you know, things like that. But things that is substantial and they don't see it. But it's not just, okay, it wasn't, you know, you said no beef. You could do chicken instead of the beef, or fish, you know, and introduce them slowly, and then yes, just gradually, but not just cut it like that, you know what I mean? I mean, when I just cut meat out, I just stop it. And I've never regretted it, and I don't fancy it, I don't want it, or anything like that, you know what I mean? So, but yeah, and my children came along with me, we just stopped. Mushrooms, there's so many different varieties of mushroom now that, you know, you can cook. You just cook up some mushroom with garlic and basil, quickly fry it in the pan, bit of balsamic vinegar, and a bit of red onions, and there you go.
I think we got some really nice recipes. So Margot was mentioning a kind of generational shift between the habits of cooking, and how do you navigate that? Any comments, any points on that? In which direction do you want to go? Because this is Talkaoke. This means you can decide on what we are discussing. Mikey, sorry, I didn't.
I just wanted to make the point about the. Oh, just turn that one down there a little bit. Down, yeah. I don't know what's going. Turn down a bit more, yeah. So I just wanted to make the point about disagreeing with your parents, because my parents are not vegetarian either, and we have a lot of arguments. But that's not the main thing we have an argument about, which is Brexit. Is the main thing that we argue about, and we can't see eye to eye on Brexit. So the vegetarian thing is just way in the background.
Okay, so from what I understood, what you were saying, that the vegetarian argument discussion is is more behind the real argument which you would have about Brexit. So we have some new topics. Brexit, we can go on concerning the generational conflicts. You have a point.
I've never agreed with Brexit anyway, and I feel that the British public were not educated enough about Brexit and what would happen and all the fallouts that would come and stuff like that. And I just feel that.
So we are okay, Pauline and Emmanuel, please give us your final thoughts. Everyone who leaves, we want to have a final thought, please.
I think this conversation is very engaging, and I like the fact that we're all kind of sharing about our opinions and thoughts. That's really good. I think we should have more of this. I'm really glad that I came into it, but I have to leave, sorry. But thank you very much. Keep going. You're doing a fantastic job.
Do you have a final thought? No final thought. And enjoy your day. Bye. Pleasure to have you. But I see we have a new face, Juliet. Is that your name? Yeah. So, what's your name? Tell us again. Juliet, let's make again. I think because Juliet doesn't know the other faces.
Slona.
Rose.
Jasmine.
Sarah. Joao.
Gonzo.
Elam.
And Mikey. So we have this, Brexit. So misinformation on Brexit, which Lorna mentioned. Are there any thoughts concerning this topic? Do you want to go further on this topic? We were discussing, is there a Hackney food a couple of minutes ago? Would you say there's a special Hackney food?
Like a special dish in Hackney?
Yeah.
I think Hackney is just so diverse, and there's so much in Hackney. There's no special dish, and I think the fact that we're so diverse is the special thing about Hackney, personally.
So the diversity of Hackney. Would there be a specific dish, a Hackney diversity dish, maybe?
Chicken and chips, like that. Chicken and chip shops everywhere. Yeah, there we go.
Chicken and chip shops.
Would it be the Satan chicken burger? The vegetarian chicken burger from the Temple of Hackney. Maybe that should be the representative dish.
Okay, so what I see, you do not.
No way! Why do you think that? No, how can you? That shop popped up 2-3 years ago, and it was called the Temple of Satan, which was very offensive, by the way. And it's just like I ordered from there on delivery, and they tricked me because I thought it was actually like meat, and then it's all of this stuff, and I was like, what is this? Like, I was not happy. So no, I don't agree with that.
You didn't order at the Temple of Satan again. So
No.
Who knows? Show of hands. Who knows the Temple of Satan?
You know what? I had a wrap there and it was tasty. Like, the food is very nice. I see why people used to queue for it.
Okay. So,
I was going to say, I remember when it opened and the queue was round the block. So I wondered what was going on. So I asked somebody and they said, oh, it's vegan food. And I said, come to my house and I'll cook you vegan food.
So that might be the Temple of Satan.
I mean, I have to say, even though I'm a vegetarian, I'm not. It's overpriced. It's extremely overpriced. But that might be more representative of Hackney today. That you pay £8 for a chicken burger that's not even chicken.
Okay,
So in that way, it's representative of Hackney.
I think it's representative of a certain demographic of Hackney. I'm not being rude, but the people that have moved in recently during the whole gentrification of Hackney, I feel like this is the more geared to them, and they're more able to pay those type of prices. But the locals that have been here for years and years, who probably don't have as much money as the people that have moved in, are not going to go to these places because they can't afford it. And sometimes they might not even feel welcome to be in them types of stores. And I'm going to say I used to feel like that, but before, when all of these things were popping up during the whole gentrification thing. But yeah, so that's what I have to say about that.
So we have the gentrification of Hackney. I have Gonzo, and then I will come to you, Alan.
I've tried seitan once, and I can't digest it, so it's not my favorite. But knowing that it's just like wheat flour that you kind of wash out the gluten, and then it just becomes really sticky, sounds too easy. It's like it shouldn't cost £8 anyway.
Okay, so Gonzo also thinks it's overpriced, and he can't use seitan. So maybe Alan.
I'm not gonna lie, I just ordered a doner with chips, and that was like more than £10. And I was like, when since did doner and chips with a bit of salad cost more than £10? I mean, I know the cost of living has gone up, but my God, I'd rather just order that wrap from bloody Temple of Satan for what? I think it was £6.50 at the. It's £8. You know, at least I'm getting like something experimental. You know, I'm thinking bloody hell, like I don't know, and it's cheaper as well and filling. You know, has it gone? Okay.
I mean, I was gonna say, if there's right now today, there's a although I don't think there's one specific food that's of Hackney, but if anything, I would say it's the kebab. That's what I would say. I don't eat kebab, but I would say it's the kebab, because there's kebab shops everywhere, more than fish and chip shop. Although there is chicken shops, the chicken shops. That's true, because Harmony's in Dalston. Yeah.
Kebab as a special Hackney food. What do you think of that, Joel?
Well, there's this one kebab shop that my dad likes, but it also has fish and chips in it.
Okay,
I'm pretty sure.
It's like another diverse shop which has everything. Margot?
I really like those shops where it's like, it's fish, chips, kebab, pizza. You know the ones, they exist. I'm just always really intrigued. But what I wanted to say is that, because you were talking about chicken and chips, my mum told me we live back in Poland. We live in a block of flats. It's like a council estate, shall we say? And she said that our neighbours' children, they may be like boys 12, 13, something like this. They bought themselves a chicken, and I'm like, come again? She's like, no, they bought a chicken and they're growing it. And I thought, they're boys, they're probably going to do something horrible to it. They're just growing it to like kill it or something. But they don't. They literally have a chicken. They keep it on the balcony, and they just take it for a walk. They film videos with it. It eats from their hands and that kind of stuff. And I just thought, there's me assuming they're just going to do something horrible. Like boys, when I was growing up, they would catch cats and pull them by the tails. But they just actually keeping this chicken. And I'm like, you know what? Get in.
Yeah. So I would have a round of applause for those boys. Anyone has chicken? Yeah.
I mean, I used to want to have a chicken when I had a garden, but just so you could have the eggs and stuff, and maybe kill the chicken and eat it eventually. But I think others in the household didn't really think that was a good idea. So.
Julia, do you have chickens at your place?
We've thought about it, but there are too many foxes in the area.
Okay.
Yeah.
No chicken, no. I mean, same thing really. I think, I would like to have a chicken, but the chicken would not last a day with the foxes in the garden.
So, we have people having chicken on their balcony and good behavior of Polish guys.
I wonder, because there's so many foxes, could we somehow, I don't know, just put some effort into making foxes into like suitable pets, because there's so many and they're animals, like they are cute. Do you know what I mean? The delivery. You know, they are cute. They're cute animals, but they're just a bit feral. But I wonder whether it's ever possible to, you know, domesticate, just popularize it a bit more, because I always feel so sorry for them.
Can we domesticate foxes? You have a point on that?
Like sometimes I see foxes in my local park, which is kind of over there. They like just do things, and I'm not sure what they really do, but they're mostly in the football pitch.
Okay, and would you like to have one at home?
No.
Okay.
It's really greedy.
You think that foxes are greedy?
Yeah.
Okay. What do other people think about foxes?
I think that they make horrible noises. Like in the night, they make like it's like a cat getting murdered. It sounds horrible. It's not nice, and they're scavengers, and they're pests, I think.
Okay, so well, two people
No, I wouldn't have a fox, I wouldn't have a dog, I wouldn't have a cat. I wouldn't even have goldfish, to be quite honest. Because when you want to go on holiday, who's going to look after them?
Good question. Does anyone have cats and has someone to look after them?
What did you say? You said, what did you say? Goldfish. When you said goldfish, I understood dolphin in first, because just because I can't hear properly. But it reminded me of a story. There was a scientist. She was doing a lot of research on dolphins and their behavior with like humans and stuff. And to study them better, she it was like a well-known story, but some time ago, she kind of immersed her flat or house in water so the dolphin could just like swim around. And apparently, at the end of it, she developed kind of, I don't know to what extent, but kind of like a romantic relationship with the animal, which was a bit like, you know, what it was. But I just thought, you know, what a pet. You know what? That's taking having pets to another level. I just found that interesting.
Joao, do you have a dolphin at home? Or
No, my sister has a pet rabbit at home.
A rabbit, okay. What's its name?
Coco. And also it's a her.
Oh, it's a girl. So you'd like to have it? Is it duck?
Yeah.
Okay, so you can pet it.
Yeah.
Anyone else has pets at home? Ellen?
When I was on TikTok recently, I saw that, I think the person's from Hackney actually, I saw a guy was on a bike and he had a fox in his backpack, and it turns out that this fox is now his friend, you know, like he's kind of domesticated this fox in a way, and the fox looked very comfortable in the backpack, so...
Okay,
you know?
So maybe foxes are like part of the Hackney
you know,
community.
foxes need love too, you know?
Yeah, foxes need love too, okay.
There's a man who's suing Sainsbury's because Sainsbury's will refuse to let the cats come into the store, and I just think that they have every right, because the man's not blind. You can have a guide dog, but what's the cat? Well, that's what he says, but he can get one of the Sainsbury's staff to support him while he's doing his shopping.
Okay. What do you think about that?
Well, I have a cat, and I love him so much, so I understand where this guy's coming from. Why he wants his cat.
So you would also take your cat to the shop and...
Well, I don't need my cat for support.
Okay.
So it'll be alright, but yeah, I can understand why he did that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mikey.
I bet they would let that cat into Lidl.
Sorry, I didn't get that.
I bet they would let the cat into, as they say in Austria, into Lidl.
Okay.
Because I don't think they would have. I mean, anything goes in at least in the Wells Street Lidl. So the last thing they'd be worried about is someone walking around with a cat.
Possibly. Sorry. So, and again, it's up to you where we want to go. So we were speaking about foxes. We were coming about from nutrition. We had if we want to change or no?
Yeah, let me know if you're comfortable.
Yeah.
Continue, but if you want to change,
yeah, I'll let you know. Okay. So it's up to you to decide on which topic we can go with the flow. So we had discussions about love and food. We came from the beginning from the discussion about the statue, which is a statue related to the Windrush. So
it's not exactly a statue, it's like a sculpture, because it's not of a person, it's of the fruits, the giant fruits, the jackfruit, Yes.
Yeah, so I don't know it, so please explain us what it is.
Well, it's a breadfruit, and at one point they took it from, because it's native of Tahiti and those places, and they took it from there during enslavement to the Caribbean, and and then the jackfruit, I believe it's a native of that area of South America. Well, in Jamaica we've got loads of jackfruit, and jackfruit, breadfruit, and what else? Soursop. And soursop is also a native of that side of the world, South America, Caribbean, Central America, and like that. The soursop is very good, and there's some research about it being good for cancer and stuff, the soursop. So you can boil the leaves, the tea, the roots, everything, and then you eat the pulp as well. So we make juice with it, or we just eat it like that, Jackfruit is it's very sweet, pegs. It's very expensive here now, and you can cook it as well. So the Indian Asians, is it South Asians? They use it in curry and stuff like that, yeah. And but in Jamaica we just tend to eat it like that. But there's people who cook it, who use it to cook as well. And we boil the seeds and eat that. It's very nutty, or we roast it. And that's also very, very nice as well. Or you can stew it, actually, I just remembered. And and it's really nice.
And what do you think about the sculpture?
The sculptures, I think, why not? I mean, you have sculptures of different things, so why not? And why not represent, I mean, Hackney, there's so much like Caribbean, African people that was going on in Hackney, and it should have a representative of where some of the people is from, you know what I mean? And and people, it would bring memories to people, whether people's gone on holiday, maybe they've tasted it, maybe they want to taste it and stuff like that, you know what I mean? So it's not just my memory, but it's going to be memory of people and the people to come. So
Okay. So Elam, I think you have a point.
Yeah, just going back to what I was saying before, I think people will see that and wonder, why is it there? And then they will look into it. It sparks conversation. And I think that's the thing with art, it can really create conversations on many different levels. You can look at the history, present, future. Okay, I've said this before, but I just think it's a really good art piece,
So Elam said, Mikey?
No, I just think, an art piece is not going to please everybody, but it's just, as Elam says, it starts a conversation, and that's the good thing about it. I just think we actually need more art around and about the place to start more conversations. I think that's the thing. It's because that's the only thing really that's representing a culture and the history of Hackney. It's just there by itself, so it's hard to represent everything and all the views and everything, so you just need to have a lot more of it. I think that's the issue.
So obviously I know the Windrush quote-unquote scandal is very much a live debate. However, I honestly think that you make change from many different angles, and some of it is in the political, in Parliament, some of it is through family, friends, and some of it is through art. But also when I walk along Brick Lane and I look at some of the lampposts, and there's a lot of detail on the lampposts, and that represents the textile history, particularly from the Bangladeshi community. So again, I feel like that really can create conversation and curiosity as well. So I think there's many different areas many different sort of symbols and art pieces around London that can kind of create that conversation, I guess. So
So can art? Oh, sorry. There you go.
No, I mean, just there's a sculpture. I don't know if anyone's. Last time we did Talkaoke, we were up by Newington Green, and we were talking about the sculpture up there of Mary Wollstonecraft.
Who's that?
She's. I think she's the mother of Mary Shelley, the writer of Frankenstein. She was one of the first feminist activists in the UK. And Newington Green used to be a place where people, what they called dissenters, which is people that didn't agree with the establishment view, could speak, because they had to be 5 miles away from Westminster. Okay. And that Newington Green was exactly 5 miles away. And so they made a statue there because he used to make speeches there. But it wasn't just like a representation of her. It was some kind of weird sort of, I mean, it was really odd thing. It looks weird, but actually, because it looks so weird, it starts a conversation about, who's, so I think it's better than just having a statue of her, even if it's a bit of a strange work of art.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm looking at it, and I personally think it looks very random. And I just don't understand how people that are not Caribbean are going to understand what that is. They're just going to look at it and be like, what's that? And also, like, is there anything that says that it's about Windrush or...
Does anyone, I think, who knows the... Please, do you know? Because
I know you say it's random, and people who are not Caribbean might not know, but like I said, right, these fruits are native to Central America, South America, and, even people as far off as Tahiti. So, people will have memory. People will pass memory. The memories now and the memories to come. It will generate those kind of things. I do.
All right, 50 years time.
I will come to you in a sec, Alan.
All right, in 50 years time, what is that going to represent? They're not going to know it's because of the Windrush gun. Why don't they do like the Windrush, the ship or something that actually represents the Windrush? What's these fruits going to do?
What would you like to see?
Well, maybe they could have been the boat or something, and maybe like a plaque that explains what it's about, or something like that. 3 random fruits. I don't understand how that represents a whole struggle and like a whole history of black people. I don't agree with it.
I mean,
let me give one second. I will go to Alan and then.
I mean, I suppose in a way you can't represent like the whole history of a community in one sculpture. I think as well the symbolism of like fruit, it's sweet, and I think like Mikey was saying earlier is that when it comes to the Holocaust, it's often remembered through, in is it Auschwitz? It's often remembered in a very what's the word, like somber way. But he was just saying that actually the Jewish community is very rich. They've got great personalities and culture, and when you think of like that time in Jewish history, you don't really think about that. And I think sometimes, especially when it comes to like the Windrush, where it came from, the enslavement of African people, it can be very traumatic. And I find that sometimes when it comes to Caribbean art, black art, it's always presented in a very like traumatic way. So it's really refreshing to see something that's actually celebrity and I'm not gonna be able to say it, and like warm and like joyful, and also like sparks the memory of like food. And the thing is with food is that it really it's about memory, it's about family, it's about friendship, it's about joy. I mean, I have fond memories of being in Jamaica and having the soursop and the jackfruit, and when I see it, that's kind of what it sparks. But also knowing that it's Windrush, I think maybe the issue here is that like, because I know the history of like how the fruits came to the UK, and like many people didn't get fruit straight away, and there's a whole story behind how those fruits came. Maybe because I'm aware of it, it means something more to me. So if there's not a plaque there, there should be a plaque there. Maybe, I know the Mayor Glanville, the mayor of Hackney, was here, so maybe we can campaign for, he's still here, maybe we can campaign for an explanation to be there. Maybe that's the next step. But for me, I don't think it's random. In fact, if it's random, I think that's great. I think it's good to have like some random sculpture on the building, or, let's have a bit more random, yeah?
Okay.
Just a quick one, right?
Give me 1 second. We have a new face. Hi, hello, what's your name?
Hello, I'm Charlie. I was just passing. I was worried I was going to get rained on. I saw some shelter.
Okay. So, Lorna, please.
Yeah. Just a quick one about public art and art in the community and stuff like that. But when I look at if we look at the mural in Dalston, there is no explanation to it.
There is a plaque in the corner that explains.
Now there is, but there never used to be.
Oh, okay.
So again, it's to come. And that's what we have to thing. Well,
So, Mikey, what do you think on that?
I just think I really like the mural in Dalston, but what I think is especially important about it is to me, it's also about the history of partying and having fun. It's a carnival, and one thing I think that we talked a lot today about what is representative of Hackney, and for me it's that sense of partying and having fun and the whole community getting together. I mean, one of the things about the history of Hackney is really a first place where there was like such a positive sense of cultural exchange and integration, and that is through partying. And I think that's what we need to celebrate the partying, and that's what I like about that Dalston mural.
Okay, so
I'm just thinking that there should have been I like the fact that the artist is a black woman. I'm glad that they picked someone black to do it and everything, but I just think they could have done something a bit better to represent the scandal and to give the people a bit more respect. Maybe like a mural or something would have been better, because those fruits, they're just going to sit there over years. People are just going to end up sitting on them, graffitiing them. It's just going to just be just random things in the street. I just don't think it's going to get the respect that it deserves over time.
Okay.
Is what I think.
So you're not satisfied with the sculptures. Alan, you had a point?
Yeah, no, I was just going to say, I guess I understand like how people can kind of see it as disrespectful, especially because it is such a contentious sort of debate and topic, and it's quite hurtful now. I can understand how maybe people will see that. I suppose as well, I was just thinking recently when you said about like partying, the partying community in Hackney, I think about like the squatting community and how like that was such a they were such a I can't speak because I've got brain freeze. They were an important part of the history of Hackney, but they're not really represented anywhere. That squatting history isn't really kind of represented anywhere, and it will be interesting to see, like, you know, yeah, how can that be? Is that something that should be celebrated? Is that something that, you know, the mayor would support, representing that history?
Is the mayor still here?
Is he still here?
We could, yeah. Charlie, are you from Hackney?
No, but I was going to say that at the top of Sutton House, the National Trust House, like on the way to Homerton on the corner, on the top floor they have preserved like one of the rooms as it looked when it was sort of squatted in the 80s. I know it's a bit contrived, but like, you know, they have at least sort of recognised that there was some sort of tradition there that had to be like kind of preserved.
Mikey?
I just want to say it wasn't just squatting, you know, because I think the squatting element, you know, as a whole culture, as an anarchist culture essentially, that was alternative, and I think, you know, that's the bit really to celebrate, that people were coming with new ideas. And actually as well, Hackney was a place that actually embraced that when, you know, it could have been quite, and probably was for some people quite contentious, but they, you know, this is all part of the rich history of Hackney, and it's why I'm here really. It's because it's such a place of welcoming, of diversity, and all of that stuff. And I think the partying element of it is like the thing that connects it all, and that actually comes from the Caribbean culture, the partying element.
Okay, so I'm not from Hackney, and I will now swap with Alan. I will give you the mic. Yeah,
let's give Tina a round of applause.
Yeah. Thank you. Wait, I will give this actually. I will give this to you.
Okay, and then I can say thank you to Timna. And yeah, I mean, this is just want to say this is Talkaoke free from Talkshow, and go wherever we want to go with this conversation. What do you want to talk about? I certainly, for my in my mind, I like to talk about partying because I like partying, but I think somehow it's seen sometimes as a sort of negative, you know, when actually it's quite positive. I think a positive. It's not. It's seen as antisocial. That's the. Come and sit. Come and go over here. And I think it's not. It's pro-social partying.
Oh my God! Wow. Oh.
Anyway, this is our final stretch. You've probably only got another 20 minutes left, so now's the time. Speak now, people. Come and get involved. This is your last chance. Talkaoke pop-up talk show. We talk about whatever you want. Come on. Yes, we've got a new punter. Tell us your name.
Fantastic.
Hello,
Okay, let's do a round of names. What's your name?
Elaine Thomas, founder CEO of the Mentoring Lab.
Oh, fantastic, fantastic.
Hello, I'm Charlie.
Charlie.
Margot.
Timna.
Gonzo.
Juliet.
Lorna.
Nice. We've got Rose.
Jasmine.
Yeah, so I mean, why don't I do like a Mikey. What a day it's been. We started off talking about, well, to be honest with you, the underlying theme has been about fruits. We've been food and fruit. We started off talking about the sculptures in Mare Street, what that means, what it represents, and then we kind of moved on to like arts, healthy food. Should we be labeling food good and bad? Yeah, good and food bad. Okay, yeah. You say yeah. Oh right, okay. So you've been called out. I mean, what? Hey, she put the question to you. Should we be labeling food good or bad? Oh, you know, where do you want to take the conversation? This is the last 20 minutes. We spoke about partying, the murals, art. Timna?
I just wanted to speak about partying. I think it's super important. And I think after the pandemic, I feel like we all have to get back into the habit of socializing more and of touching people also again, because I think we're like, sometimes it feels pretty distant,
so you're saying like we need to actually get used to touching people again and partying.
Do you mean, when you say touching, you mean physically touching, or you mean touching base with people? I've just got back from Jamaica, and the culture out there, people come together, you kind of, congregate and have conversations, and it might be deep conversations, it might be simple, but everyone's come together. And the good thing about it is that whenever someone's feeling down, you always put yourself, they find themselves around people. In England it's very different. England's boring. Come back in England's like boring. I have to reach out to people.
It's interesting that you were saying that, because earlier somebody mentioned that in Mare Street there was, you could hang out in Mare Street, but you can't do that anymore. Welcome, we've got a couple of new faces around the table. What's your name?
Raheem.
And
Javen, okay, welcome. I mean, at the moment we're kind of talking about like hanging out, the partying culture in London. Do people party enough? Post-pandemic, do we need to kind of continue to get close to each other? Do we need to touch each other more, socialize?
I think we do, because we're social beings, and regardless what people say about community, we are a community people, we need to be near each other, and whether sometimes we don't get on, sometimes we get on, but at the end of the day we need to converse with people, to have that conversation face to face, instead of on the internet, on the phone, through whatever, and I think we need to have those things because it helps to ground people, I feel, and it keeps you exactly, and so I feel that, I mean, years back, right, we used to have the Hackney show, and for whatever reason they stopped the Hackney show. It was really good.
Where was the Hackney show?
It was up Hackney Downs.
Yeah.
And it was really good. You had local artists performed and everything like that, food stalls, and it was really good for the children and everything, because Sunday I went to Brockwell Park and they had City Splash, and it just reminded me of the Hackney show,
Like
although we didn't pay, but
So partying, it's grounding, it's important for our souls. I want to ask some of the young people around the table, where do you party? Is it important to party? Do you party on Snapchat? Is that where you're partying now? TikTok maybe?
I can't lie. I don't really party, because actually I go to like gatherings and stuff. I go out with my friends, but I don't really party, because at the party for like our generation, it's more like consumed with like bad stuff, like people are like taking drugs and that, and to have a good time they have to like do those stuff. I don't think
So you're saying that for some people in your generation, having a good time means partying with drugs, etc. So perhaps you're not kind of around that.
Yeah.
All right. So where do you socialize?
So where I socialize is when my mum has a party, and when I'm meant to be somewhere else, I go to the party. I have a lot of fun, but I think we don't party enough because I'm always at home playing FIFA.
Okay. So you want to party more, but you get to party when your mum has a party. Or other people. I mean, how about yourself? Do you party much?
I don't really party much, but when I do party, it's either a house party or with friends, and it's enjoyable a lot.
Oh right, see, it's like a house party, so not so much in a park, not in a club. I mean, I guess you wouldn't party in a club, or would you? I don't know. I don't know what's going on these days. Do you party?
When I'm partying, yeah, I go to I go to the Caribbean parties and they'll have the rice and peas and the curry.
Right. So food is important for you. So when you go to the Caribbean parties, you're looking out for like the jerk pan and some rice and peas, maybe.
Yeah, some people associate parties with drugs and alcohol, which is readily available. That's true. Like a couple of weeks ago, I went to the concert on my own. That was at Royal Albert's Hall, and I didn't need any alcohol or drugs.
Yeah.
The music was so loud and great, I mean, yeah.
So you're saying that
we need more sound systems around.
So we need more. So so we need more sound systems around. You didn't need any kind of alcohol or anything when you went out to the Royal Albert Hall because the music was enough. You know?
I was going to say back in the day, and this is where a lot of you young people really miss. She did it, but you know, when we had the FM radio and KISS was a pirate station, we had all the pirate stations, and so you would hear about, and they used to have a rave, they used to have a party every Sunday up Clapton Pond, Dougie's, and
right, okay, you're laughing.
And so you know, you would take the children, you know, and this is where all the children would meet up, you know, and I'm sure a lot of friendship came out of that, you know, and I think that's where a lot of that is missing right now,
So
you
you're
know,
saying-
so you could party in a safe place, you know, and there was no problems or anything like that. And obviously they've closed a lot of these places down now, so you know, people can't even organize a little disco for use lot disco. You get my age,
Yeah. So did you ever go to any of Dougie's? Does that ring a bell?
Oh yeah, I went to all the clubs.
Yeah.
And partied in the park. Yeah, all the clubs in Hackney I've been to.
Yeah. Okay, so we've got a big party going there. So you're saying with like radio stations was a great way to hear about like parties happening, you know? I mean, where do people hear about parties now? And like, what would if we were to organize a party, what should that look like? You know, what should be there, you know? Sound systems, I know you were saying.
People organize parties now, but like posting it on Snapchat and then sending it to their friends. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Then, what is Snapchat for people who might not know? Yeah. What is Snapchat for people that might not know?
It's like an app where you could talk to your friends, post on your stories.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of like upgraded WhatsApp.
So it's upgraded WhatsApp. So it's a way to sort of socialize. You know. All right. So hey, look, someone's showing. I mean. Yeah, so you're currently showing. Okay, so maybe you can talk us through so everyone can see. Here's some intergenerational communication going on here.
So this bit, this where you can post like stuff and that. This stories where people post their stuff so like you can see it.
So tell us, talk us
There's
through
advertisement as well in between it.
So you saying there's adverts in Snapchat?
Is that the same as TikTok?
No. This is different. This is different.
Yeah.
And then this is where you text your friends.
Yeah. So is Snapchat for a particular age group? Like who? Anyone? Is your mum on Snapchat? Are your uncles and aunties on Snapchat? Who is it for?
It's more for like adults.
So it's more for young people.
Like younger people, like new generation, use it more because it came out not long ago.
Right, not too long ago. Have we got a new face at the table? What's your name?
Jeremy.
We're talking. What's your name?
Ian.
Ian, we're talking about Snapchat. We had a little tutorial here. I know it's quite cold, isn't it? It's quite cold. Oh, you need to go to the toilet. Oh, Lord. So the mentoring lab, is the mentoring lab on Snapchat?
No, we're not on Snapchat. We're trying to get on TikTok. But I'm the older generation, you see, so I'm going to kind of slow going.
What is the mentoring lab? Who is it for?
It's for young people from the ages of 8 going up to 25, and we support young people through mentoring programs so that they can get really good jobs.
Right.
So they develop their character, their qualities with us through different programs. But can I say, you're talking about socialising, or sorry, parties, but socialising is different, right? So you know, with my friends, now that we're past 40, we go on long walks together and we go to the theatre with each other.
Right.
It's like wholesome socialising, you know?
Right, so I mean, can you like combine partying with the theatre? Can you combine partying
with going for a walk in a forest?
Walks, you know what I mean?
It sounds boring to you, innit? It sounds boring to you, but we get so much laughter.
Hold on. I know you need to go to the toilet, so I won't. Yeah, okay. So I'm wondering, like, so you're saying mentoring, it's all about getting 18 to 25-year-olds into good jobs. What is a good job? What does a good job look like? And what will a good job look like in 10 years' time? What did a good job look like 5 years ago, 2 years ago, pre-pandemic? What's a good job like? What does a good job look like now? Does this look like a good job? I don't know. Anyway, I know you had a point, so I'll come to you and then I will...
This would be a good job for you.
Oh, okay.
No. I was going to say that maybe you could combine the when you go to the theatre with organising the party and stuff like that, you know? So that was it.
Yeah, so theatre party. I mean, I have definitely been to a party in a theatre before. I know you had your hand up and then I'll come to you guys.
We were talking about good jobs.
Yeah, what's a good job?
I thought like a good job is where you can help people and make good money to support yourself and your family as well.
Right. What would a good job be for you?
Something I enjoy doing is football, so I feel like football would be a good job.
So football, you're helping people, but you're earning a lot of money? I mean, wow, you're earning a lot of money if you are playing for the right team.
For me, a good job's where you can communicate with your partners and your colleagues and you earn money and everybody's friendly too.
Okay, so friendliness, earning money is definitely like a second tick there. I'll come to you and then I'll come to you.
I think a good job is where you're making enough money and you're like, you can enjoy it and it's not like too little pay, but you're getting enough money.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, no problem.
So you know what, you said a good job is about making money. So what if you're in a good job, you're making a lot of money and you're not happy?
Oh, honey, what about that? I mean, anyone got a response to that? I want to come to you and then I'll come back to you guys on this side.
So yeah, I've got an answer for that.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I had a job where I was doing admin and I was making...
What is admin? For people that don't know what admin is, what is it?
So I was doing an office job. And I was making a decent amount of money.
Yeah.
But I wasn't happy. And I'm now a mental health support worker.
Right.
And I'm making a hell of a lot less, but I'm a lot happier because I have fulfillment in my job and I'm happy with what I do.
Yeah.
I'm making enough to keep me going, so that's the main thing. And I'm getting a qualification, a level 3 qualification with that, so now I can move on to the next thing.
So you're
in the
more
future.
fulfilled now. So even though you're earning less money, you're much more fulfilled than you were doing your office job.
Yeah.
That's really interesting. So for you, what do you value more? Is it job fulfillment then, rather than
fulfillment,
I mean, what is job fulfillment? Do we know what is job fulfillment? What is that? Do you know what that is?
Is it like when you can like
maybe we should ask the mentoring lab expert.
So in my professional capacity, I have an answer. Yeah, you definitely got to have a balance.
Yeah.
But in my personal capacity, you got to know what poverty really is to say, you know what, I'm going to take the money and I'll get the fulfillment somewhere else. But when you've got, families to feed here in the UK and then you've got families overseas, it's not just about you and what you want for your life and your well-being. It's about everybody's well-being, because you can't just be you unhappy and then everybody else is broke or depressed or poor or living in poverty. So I think some of us have the obligation to find other means to fulfill their lives and earn the good money so that everybody else can get a hands up.
So sometimes you have like a responsibility to support other people. So that's your personal opinion. Okay, so I mean,
not of the mentoring lab, but of Elaine Thomas.
Right. So I mean, I heard someone, you had your hand up on this side. You seem to know what a job fulfillment is. Are you yeah.
I feel like job fulfillment is like your job is kind of like your second home. Like it's somewhere you feel safe to open up and feel safe to express yourself while enjoying what you do for other people and making money for yourself.
So it's kind of like what do you call it? Like a safe space in a way. It's like a safe space. That's really interesting. I mean, what kind of jobs I'm assuming 18 to 25-year-old, is it 10 to 25-year-olds? Yeah. So I'm wondering what kind of jobs will people around the table be doing? What will football look like 10 years from now? You know, will people still be running around on a football pitch, or will they be wearing VR glasses making money? You know, in the metaverse, what will jobs look like in the future?
I feel like that because like games and stuff like that, they're shutting down everything that we know today. And like my friend, he wants to be in the next like FIFA when he's older, but FIFA's shutting down next year apparently.
What is
so it's
FIFA?
not like it's a football game.
Yeah.
And then like it's been going on since like early 2000s.
Yeah.
And since it's shutting down, it's like I say like giving people less motivation and stuff like that.
Okay, so people are feeling like demotivated now. They were dreaming to work for FIFA, but now it's shutting down, and so they're feeling a bit demotivated. I'm wondering, can people create like a new FIFA? What would that look like, you know?
Maybe if you like get enough people and you get the right people, you can make your own game, or like you can work as hard and like and get EA to like do the game for you.
Right. So I'm wondering as well, like 10 years ago, are there any jobs that exist now that like people didn't think would exist, you know? What do you think? Like, are there any jobs now that you're like, whoa, I can't believe people are making money doing this, you know?
Well, you put me on the spot now. Have you, go on.
Okay, I know you had your hand up. Okay, Mikey, then I'll come to you.
It's a very, very popular job now. It's a bit like your job is life coach.
Okay, life coach.
Life coach, where you actually helping people progress in life.
Yeah.
So you're actually helping them overcome their problems. And that wasn't around 10 years. There was no life coach. Maybe 15 years ago, there might be.
Oh, but so you're saying like within the
it's been around, that job and the role has been around, but it's mainly been in corporations and in big businesses, and now it's kind of filtered out
you're
into
saying it's kind of
the common
growing
man.
popularity, so anyone can get a life coach. I'll come to you.
I think there's a lot of things that used to be provided through the church or through organised religion, which have to come in other ways for some people now, like the life coaching thing. If you look at like what people expect like artists to do now, like there's a whole load of like meaning there that maybe like.
Ooh, so we're back on the topic of like.
I don't want to go back to the art. You know, it's just like,
you know, I know you had your hand up, and then I'm going to come to you.
Okay, so the social media influencers, they weren't around 10 years ago, were they?
Yeah, they weren't. What is a social media influencer?
So the people that like make money through advertising and like through their content, isn't it?
Through making content.
Yeah.
So they're called content creators. All right. So social. It seems like they're making a lot of money.
I don't know if this is correct, but around 10 years ago, there wasn't people getting paid to sleep.
There wasn't people getting paid to
sleep.
Oh, are people getting paid to sleep now? Wow, I wouldn't mind being getting paid to sleep. Okay. I mean, what kind of job is that? I want to know. How can I apply for that?
You get paid.
Oh, you're looking into it. All right. Final thoughts. Anything that stood out for you in the conversation today?
I'm not sure.
Not sure. We'll come back to you. Final thoughts?
Well, like what everybody said, like society has changed a little bit. We've become more developed, and like it's like these days it's more technology, but like the next generation has more to come.
So there's a lot to look forward to when it comes to technology and beyond.
As he said, you know, like 50 years from now, like there'll be more technology. So like you probably see like flying cars and everything.
So flying car. I mean, I know they predicted flying cars 50 years ago, but you're saying give it another 50 years and there will be flying cars.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. And what's your final thought?
Do you know what? I really I enjoyed being there and just listening to people's views. Although I didn't say much, but I really enjoyed it.
I mean, that's the great thing about Talkaoke. You can just sit, you can just listen. You don't actually have to get involved. That's the joy of it. Final thoughts?
My final thoughts is that I've enjoyed this discussion.
Yeah.
And everyone's opinions.
Anything you want to leave us with? Any sort of thing that stood out for you today?
Just like people's opinion and like the community and things like that.
Yeah.
Job satisfaction. Yeah.
Community. Final thoughts?
I think it's been a very interesting conversation. I didn't expect to be here, and just don't die for Nash. To him, to my friend right there. Yeah.
Friendship. You didn't expect to be here. A surprise. Any final thoughts?
Well, you know, in Jamaica it takes one corker to full basket, and it takes each one of us to be around to gather each other's what if people are thinking, you know. Yeah.
Okay. So we got
and
like
thoughts and ideas and hopes and dreams.
Wow, we got a Jamaican proverb there. Wow.
Final thought. What's been lovely today is to see the young men, and I'll put myself as a young woman even though I'm not, but coming together to do something different, and you didn't just walk past, you also thought you were included. So my final thought is, please, if you see opportunities out there, just take the opportunity, because you don't know where it will lead you to. Because young people tend to see an opportunity and walk past it or ignore it or just don't even see it because they don't think it's for them. But actually, this is a good example of just the random things that can happen in life when you take.
These are the random things that can happen in life.
I was going to say thank you all for coming over when I called. So maybe my teaching thing is still there.
Can I also say?
Final thought.
You've been a fantastic host. A round of applause for the host.
But give thanks to the overall team. We got Tim, no Mikey. But final thought from yourself.
Oh yeah, I was just still thinking about the party thing and how like the best party, because I was younger and I had more time and less responsibility. Like I don't think I really appreciated the party, but now we're just like hammered by work and children, and it's like the best party is the one that you don't feel like you're allowed to have.
Oh, okay. I wonder what that would look like. That's the next Talkaoke. We're gonna start with that. What would the final thought?
My final thought is about like the future jobs, job fulfillment and all of that.
Job fulfillment. Did we get a final thought from you? Final thought? Did we get a final?
Don't become a drug dealer.
Don't become a drug dealer. Timna, final thought?
It was great to see so many faces. Yeah.
Great to see Mikey. Final thought.
I just think there's so much wisdom here in Hackney, and I think it really bodes well for the future. It's not going to be a future of electronic delivery love. It's going to be a future of compassion. I think.
Compassion. Ooh,
and partying.
We have a compassionate future to look forward to.
Where's the good party now?
Where is the good party now? Anyone? Final thought, Juliet?
Well, I'm just glad to hear about the sculptures, and I finally found out what it's about. I didn't actually know it was about the Windrush. I just saw kids, playing leapfrog over them, but having fun, being playing. It's a playful thing, so it was great to find out.
Yeah, what it's about.
What it really was.
Why it's really there. Any more final thought? If not, this is Talkaoke. It's a pop-up talk show. We spoke about so much today. If you want to follow us, The People Speak on Instagram and, the social medias, follow us. And the next Talkaoke will be...
tomorrow at Mudchute Skate Park in the Isle of Dogs. If you want to get on the DLR and come down there, you can find us there. We had the Mayor of Hackney, we've got the Mayor of Tower Hamlets tomorrow, and hopefully he's going to come and sit down on the table. We'll see. It might be the same again, but with the Tower Hamlets favour, 2 till 4.
2 till 4.
Because they haven't got the stamina of a 2 till 6 in Tower Hamlets.
See you there. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Woo!